Okay, we're back. Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Okay, we're back. We are back. We're doing the thing. We're doing. God damn it. Okay, we're back. Hello, welcome in, everyone. Scorpio. Welcome in, everyone. Good morning. It is 7:01 a.m. Central Time. I'm having a little breakfast. Very yummy. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hope you're having a great morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you're at on Earth. Hope it's going well. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. Baddie? What do you mean, baddie? If that's annoying, I can stop. I can stop eating in front of the mic. I don't know what you guys think, though. Some people like ASMR. Would this be considered ASMR? Whisper, whisper, whisper. Whisper, whisper. Whisper, whisper. Is that how ASMR is done? I don't know. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. It's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday, right? Is it a Tuesday? Tuesday, October 21st. 7:03 Standard Time. That's what's going on. Good morning, everyone. Appreciate you tuning in. We got 3 people. Appreciate you guys. If you're just passing by, I understand. I'm just having breakfast. I don't know what I should say when no one's talking. I'm not gonna start preaching because look, I'm still figuring things out, right? If that's what you want, if you want me to open up a Bible, I'm not gonna open up a Bible. I do not currently own one. I used to have King James, and then I tossed it because it was not resonating with me. Hello, welcome in.
Oh, morning, morning.
Good morning. How old are you, by the way?
30 years old.
Awesome. Okay, I just checked because TikTok terms of service you have to be older than 18, and honestly, some 18-year-olds sound like their voice has matured to the point where I'm like, okay, okay. So, just had to check for TikTok, but yeah, how you doing today?
No worries, no worries. I've been better, been better. But I did want to ask you a question. I saw
Yes.
your prompt. Could you tell me the difference between fact and faith?
What was that? My bad.
Oh, my bad. Could you tell me the difference between fact and faith?
Fact, we can test it. It's verifiable, and right. It gets complicated, but it's something that 2 people can witness, and prove to more people and more people and more people and more people and more people, more people. Faith is not is believing in that in a sense, but not knowing, which is okay to the point where it's not able to be taught to more, right? So people have an understanding of what that means, and I'm being vague. I'm being kind of vague on purpose, but I can get more specific if you'd like me to. But that's we.
No,
It's
no.
a general idea.
So you could say it's almost based in hope, I guess to say.
What's based in hope?
Faith.
Um, right, and it's yes, I'd say
Okay,
I say that
that
I
proved
can
my
agree.
point then.
That aligns with um how I view it, if that helps. But there's, if you say it proved your point, I'd be curious like what your point was, but you left, because I can elaborate. Um, and but I think we aligned. I have good reason to believe that um we understood the same thing. I think. But then you said I proved your point. So I don't know what your point was. I wish you would have stayed up and elaborated more. What religion? I believe there's truths to all religions. People are trying to figure this out. I figured out in my own way. I was brought up as a Christian, Catholic. I was indoctrinated, you could say. I didn't understand it at the time because it was just kind of what was taught to me. People would say things and put them into my mind, and I'm like, why? And I can get into that, but I can understand that Christianity has truths to it. I don't think it is the truth, and I can get into why. Because you have Islam, you have Judaism. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Hinduism, Buddhism. We have Hellenistic polytheists. You have all these people that claim their truth, right? Um, and that's true to them, and we should listen and understand without saying no. Point proven. Where it's literally it's dude, if you're saying where, you're asking the wrong question. But it's good to ask questions like um I say where and you say point proven, but you need to elaborate on what you mean by where. Maybe be more specific. Where? I It's hard to communicate that to you when you're disengaging by saying point proven. But I don't. But I'm gonna look at you in good faith because I ought to, and maybe you understand what I understand, and maybe your point's proven. Anyways, right? It's hard for me to know what your intention is with words. If I hear your voice, if I understand how you speak, if I could see your facial expressions, if I see how you move your body, it indicates more data to me to understand if you understand what I understand. The way I met my girlfriend felt like a divine script. Can't prove it, but it really was so coincident. Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's awesome, and I appreciate you sharing it for one. But that's fantastic. It felt that way for you guys. Do you say no to atheists living their truth? No, because I'm. It's interesting because okay, I can understand atheist perspectives because uh there's like the arguments of like suffering, like good and evil with Christian. Let's pick on Christianity, right? There's arguments of like why would a good God have suffering in the world, and all knowing, all loving, all powerful, all good. Like people name this God, but it's not. I don't think it's ever stated in the Bible that He is this or the God is this. It's just what people apply to what they think this God is, and there's contradictions in the Bible if you apply that reasoning to it, and if you apply that God to reality and what we see. But I would say there is questions to think about to find that on your own. I believe being agnostic is where we should start, and then the individual can decide what that means for them in their own way, right? Do you say no to? Okay, no, because like so to answer your question, no, because I would I'd say be careful making a knowledge claim just like I would with believers, making a knowledge claim without knowing for sure, and that's where faith comes into play, right? But atheists don't have faith, And that's where I say be careful. The mouth sounds like driving me. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. I'll stop with the apple. I didn't know if it was making you guys uncomfy, but I'll stop with the apple. Um, why is this guy on live 24/7? I literally am not on live 24/7. Why are you making a knowledge claim that's 24/7? But I want to be in good faith and say this guy's on a lot and you're asking a good question, and maybe you can ask me why I'm doing this in the first place. And that's probably a better question than saying why is this guy on live 24/7, because it just sounds judgmental. I started dating this guy. He wants me to convert, and I'm willing to make that change. But how? I he wants you to convert. So, man, that's difficult. Um, look, I hope he understands that you can find this in your own way, right? If I'm able to find this in my own way, like other people can too, right? And I'm trying not to tell people what they should believe in, because this, once you come to understand what this means on your own in your own journey, you can talk with the person you're dating, and see if like things align, right? And then you guys figure that out together, right? And that's between you guys. I would just say be open and be curious and understanding, and um, look, I'll give my little preaching point. So, is this even worth saying at this point? I'm gonna hold off on what I was gonna say, but I'd just say be curious, but ask questions, be skeptical, right? Like you really want to make sure you know what this means for yourself, and asking good questions and being skeptical, like healthy skepticism is good, right? We all start as agnostics, meaning I don't know, and then we can pick a side. God is good. Define God. But I would say my like the one I found, um, um, like the one true force driving us all up, I believe is good, and how I interact with others proves that. And this doesn't say I don't make mistakes. This doesn't say I know everything, but I know what I don't know, to be curious and to understand, right? And I can get into preaching, but Mick Goiper is up right now. Objective way. I don't believe in objective reality. D. Hardage. Well, look, it's complicated, but anyways, it's we. I'm not trying to jump from 1 to 10 right now. Anyways, how you doing?
Do good. How about yourself?
Doing good, doing good. How old are you, by the way?
21.
21. Awesome. Okay, I'm 27. Um, so yeah, what's up? I believe I found God yesterday for the fourth time in my life. Um, I if you're what, yeah, we can just go wherever you want to take this.
Yes, so is this a god that's tied to a religion, or is this a subjective force you found in your own movement?
Um, I don't know. So I believe it's subjective to how I found it, but how I talk with other people starts to prove that it's the one true force driving us all up. So like I believe all religions have some sort of truth that they're trying to reach, and I believe what I found in my own way, um, that works for me is resonates with other people too. So it's not only mine, it's everyone's. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you wouldn't tie this to a Christian god or the Muslim god.
No, because we ought to be careful about being in groups and claiming we know, and people are wrong, right?
Well, I'll just say that I'm a Christian, and I'm just curious on your worldview.
Right.
So, does your God, does he provide you with justifications for the three main worldview categories of epistemics, metaphysics, and ethics?
I'd be curious to understand what you mean by all of that, and we can go into it.
Yeah, so epistemics first is, or the justification for epistemics would be, does he provide you with the justification to understand knowledge or for knowledge to exist? Ethics, obviously, well, we can go with that one first, actually.
Well, okay, it's interesting because like, does he provide knowledge? What do you mean by he provides knowledge?
Does his essence in itself give
And
you?
how is it a he? How do you know it's a he?
Well, I'm just referring to it as a he, so
Okay, so sorry, I'm jumping. So you're asking me about mine, but you said you're God for me, but you claimed it's a he. So you're claiming a knowledge claim, and I'm telling you, I don't know if it's a he.
yeah, I was giving it a he, so we can just give it some kind of
Yes, I'll
pronoun
jump
to
in.
speak about.
So I'll jump into your worldview because you're Christian and you believe God's a he because in the Bible it says he, him pronouns. Is that correct?
I give him a masculine figure. I believe in the monarchical Trinitarianism.
Okay,
So I believe the fathers.
so look, I can understand how that God is true. I believe there is truth to Christianity. I don't think it is the truth. And we can talk about what you're like the three things you wanted to talk about. I just wanted to clarify because I don't claim this thing that is greater and driving us all up. I don't claim it to be a gender. I don't know. I don't, and maybe I can ask it. Hey, God, what do you want to be gendered as? I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
So I was
Look,
giving
I
it a
don't get.
pronoun so
I
we
don't-
can reference it.
Look, it's more complicated than just a guy talking in your head, right? It's a way of being. It's literally a way of thinking, feeling, behaving, and putting that out into the world, coming back in and reflecting, and going back out into the world, coming in and reflecting, thinking about the individual, thinking about others in my life, and going out and testing it, right? It's God is a scientific method for me, if that makes
Well, the
sense.
scientific method presupposes truth and knowledge.
But like for me, I found this is my truth I'm speaking to, and we're trying.
Well, you can't have truth if your own worldview doesn't have a justification for truth itself.
Be careful, because what do you mean by saying I can't if my worldview doesn't have justification for?
Yeah,
truth
it's saying
itself?
that it's a self. It shows that your worldview is flawed because it's self-refuting.
How?
Because if you don't have a justification for truth, then you can't make truth claims under your own
How?
worldview.
When did I ever say I can't justify truth?
Yeah, I asked you for your justification for truth, and you keep saying you can't.
When did you ask for my justification for truth?
Well, first off, I asked for your justification of epistemics. You would have to have an epistemic justification to make
And I'm
a
asking
justification
what
for truth.
epistemic means. Look, I don't know everything. I don't claim.
Yeah,
to know
it's your
everything.
ability to know that. Or your ability, or not your ability. Sorry, it's your I mean, it's how you justify knowledge in itself. That knowledge exists.
How I justify knowledge and how knowledge exists. Okay, look, dude, you're getting into the weeds. I'm gonna point us back up to the point. Fear is the root cause of all unnecessary suffering. If the individual can eradicate fear in the mind, they can lead more productive lives and hopefully make less mistakes in the future, right? And what this means for me in my way is we react. Left, right, left, right, left, right. And it keeps going, right? But I understood in my own way what mercy means. And if someone reacts in such a way,
You keep using the word "no," but you haven't justified
look,
knowledge.
listen, I'm teaching you a lesson, and you're listening. Do not interrupt. I'm teaching
How can you
a
teach
lesson.
if you don't have a justification for knowledge?
So mercy to me, I'm teaching you, man. Listen, be not afraid. I'm not what you think I am. I'm
I
Brady.
guess you're a troll, bro.
I am Brady. I'm teaching about mercy and how I found it, and you're calling me a troll. I can react back, but look, I'm going to understand because you're afraid.
You can't teach
I'm
because of knowledge.
mercy. So I understand that you're afraid. We don't have to be afraid.
I
of
only
this
fear
idea.
God.
And you're interrupting me and do you want me to react back to you? I can be very mean to you, but I'm
Yeah.
really holding it in.
Do it.
Look,
Your
listen,
troll,
buddy.
not very
Listen,
good.
buddy. Mercy is understanding where you're coming from and guiding you to the light. You're not with God right now because you're not. You have fear.
Yeah, so if you were gonna make a prompt like this, you should at least know like the basics to philosophy and worldviews, because you're like
Why do
making
I
a
have to?
claim.
Why do I have to know everything to know that I'm with God?
Yeah,
Do
because
you
if you
think
don't have
cavemen? Do you
justification
think
for this, you have no
Do you
reason
think
to believe
cavemen knew
that.
all this philosophy?
No, and that was why they were dumb.
You think cavemen are dumb?
Yeah, they didn't really create much, innovate much.
They were able to get us to this point to where we're talking on fucking rocks right now.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with their intelligence.
They got us where we should be thankful for them.
It had nothing to do with their intelligence.
You called them dumb. I'm saying we should be thankful.
Yep. And you know what else are dumb? Like little insects.
So you're a
that
Christian.
affect
You're a
humanity.
Christian. You called fellow humans that were once humans dumb.
Well, they weren't Homo sapiens sapiens. So
I'm saying cavemen, and in my definition of cavemen, I'm saying they were like us, just not as intelligent.
yeah, I wouldn't grant that they exist.
You wouldn't grant that cavemen exist?
Yeah, evolution would be based off science and
You don't
what's it
think
called?
cavemen existed? What?
No,
Why?
you can't just prove that they did.
What?
So you're saying something existed and can't tell me how you know they existed.
Okay, let's say they don't exist. Oh, so what? How do you think we got to this point?
Yeah, we were created in God's image.
How many years ago?
I don't think the years ago really matters. I don't see how that's relevant.
I'm asking you a simple question, and
Yeah, if I don't have a
it's very-
knowledge of something.
Okay, so you say I don't know, and I respect you for saying I don't know. Look, we're having a dialogue. We're figuring this out together. We're figuring out if your God aligns with my God, and your
Well, there's only
actions-
one God. There is no your God. There's our
Yes.
God.
Right. Okay. Sorry. I'll be more careful with how we say things, right? And I hope you can too in the future. And I know you can. I believe you can because you are good, and I ought to believe that. Look, I'm not trying
Why
to
ought
be,
you?
because that's how we survive as humans.
Well, an ought's a moral
Because
claim.
do
so
you
how
remember
would
my
a-
story? Do you remember my
Wait,
story?
how do you get-
left, right, left?
No,
right,
because
left,
how
right,
can you get
mercy,
an how can you
mercy,
get an
mercy,
ought from
mercy
an
me,
is?
mercy me, mercy, mercy me, Marvin
The
Gaye.
troll's getting old, dude. So how can you get an ought from an is?
Why do you think I'm trolling?
Because you're trying to act insane. There's two options here: you're trolling or schizophrenic.
Why do you think I'm trolling?
Because you're not able to make serious arguments, and you're trying to go to
I'm
this like
literally-
left, right.
I'm literally, dude, because the left and the right are literally at war right now. Do you not see do you not look outside your window?
I see good versus evil.
Oh my God, be careful with that word. Do you not go on social media and see how people are reacting right now? Left,
Yeah.
right, left, right, react, 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 react. The better man has mercy. The better person, human, has mercy.
Yeah, how do you know that it's better to have mercy?
What did your God preach to you? Because you should probably.
No,
fucking
this is
know
internal critique. This is internal critique of your own worldview. How do you know that mercy is good?
Because a Christian told me about mercy.
Yeah, but you're not a Christian, so why would that be true?
Dude, did I not tell you that there's truths to, you don't listen. You would have a really hard time listening.
Well, there's no such thing as half truths.
Oh my God, no shit. There are truths to Christianity. It doesn't mean it is the real one. It doesn't mean it's
Yeah,
the
that's
true
impossible.
one.
You understand that, right? That's impossible.
Why are you making a knowledge claim like that?
Because I have
Dude,
the ability. Because
you
I have the
are-
justification.
You are just not clicking right now, but I'll try to explain it in the best way possible, right?
Says the guy who couldn't justify epistemics, metaphysics, and ethics.
I don't have to know that to say I don't know what that means, and you can help me understand what that means and teach me, but I don't have to go there because I got to the simple point of it all. I don't have to get to epistemology and metaphysics and all other philosophy. It's helpful. It can be helpful, but the point of it all is fear is the root cause of all unnecessary suffering. And if the individual
Prove
can eradicate that,
How can you know that?
well, you find that out on your own in your own way, and I believe that you can, right? If
Why do you
can
believe
talk,
that?
because
Why are you presupposing temporal time? How do you know that the next? How do you know
Look,
the next second will
you
be
said
like every
you're
other
asking
second?
you're asking so many questions that you should ask your God and yourself.
No, my God already gave me the answer to these things. That's why I don't have to ask myself. You yourself are presupposing temporal time. How do you know?
your God gave you this, but you're acting in fear and you're asking so many questions, and it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Ask
So
one
can you
question
tell
so I can
me?
answer the first question. What was the first
Yeah. What's
question
your
you asked?
justification?
What was the first
Justification for
question?
epistemics.
My justification for epistemics. Can you help me understand what that word means?
I've said it 5 times now, so we can move
I
past
know,
that.
but
Can
can
you
you
give me
please?
justification
Can
that
you? I'm slow.
in
I'm
simple time?
slow. I'm a slow human. I'm a dumb human. I'm dumb. Can you
Yeah,
simplify?
we know
it?
you are.
Right. And as a Christian, you just said I'm dumb. Good. Go and
You
repent.
are. It's an observation.
Anyways, go and repent. Anyways, so I'm a dumb human.
What would I
can-
repent for?
You're an idiot. But anyways, see, I just reacted back. Do you see how that hurts? Anyways, 5 times. Do it 7 times, please. I'm waiting.
You can give a justification for metaphysics.
No, espinestomotics, okay? What was that?
Yeah, the foundation of knowledge itself.
The foundation of knowledge itself. The foundation of knowledge itself. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, how do you know that there is an ability to know? Like, how do you justify knowing things at all?
How do I know there's an ability to know? I am thinking, therefore I am, and I can be agnostic about every single
And
possible
how do you
thing
know
to
you
ever
actually are
exist.
thinking?
And you're
How do you
interrupting
know
me,
you're not
and you're
predetermined?
interrupting me, and you're interrupting me.
You already made a false.
And you're
false
interrupting
how do you
me.
know that you're
I'm
actually
answering,
thinking?
dude, you're asking so many questions like you haven't talked with your own God
Well, you
about
already
this.
answered. You already answered. You said, "I think, therefore I know."
And I was still going on so I can support that claim. Do you understand a dialogue, a
debunk
healthy
the claim
dialogue?
easily.
You are so bad
The
at
claim is
having
debunked
a
easily.
healthy dialogue. I hope you never had a girlfriend yet, and I hope you can learn to have a girlfriend if that's what you want. And I'm sorry if the relationships in the past ended up being bad, but holy shit, man, you're insufferable. Listen.
Says the guy who doesn't know anything. Yeah. So
I
can you
don't know
tell me?
anything. What are you talking about?
Yeah. How do you know that?
I don't
you're
know
actually
anything. What is this?
How
What
do
is
you know
this?
that you're thinking?
What is this? Damn it. What is
Fruit.
this? What kind of fruit?
An apple,
Why is it an apple?
because that's what its physical form was before. It was more obvious before you
It
ate
was an apple, or it's not
No,
anymore?
I said it's.
What do you
I said
mean?
it was. Yeah, I just got done saying it was easily
It's
identifiable.
easily identifiable as an apple.
I said it was
Okay.
easily identifiable before you ate it.
Thanks for giving me that idea that I didn't know this was an apple in the first place, jackass. Do you understand? I can react back to you. I can be nice, but you should be nice too, okay?
You're not funny. So once
Yeah,
again,
but
so
it's,
your
it's
whole
funny to
I
people that
think-
get it. It's funny to people that get it, but to people that are confused, like
one's
they're
laughing.
just like,
So-
dude.
Yeah. So just to make it bigger for
You claimed I was schizophrenic. I'm bipolar 1. I'm on my medication. I'm on my medication.
I have
I'm on
MPD
it.
as well.
Look, mental illness is severely misunderstood by the population. We should be curious and understand these individuals instead of stigmatizing and saying bad, 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 because people really ought to listen.
Yeah. Once again, another ought claim, but can't justify the ought. So yeah,
You
said
want me
I
to
think,
justify it? You
therefore I
didn't give me
know.
the time to do it. Dude, you
I
are
did earlier.
insufferable.
So
Okay,
I
look,
think,
I don't
therefore
think
I
this is
know.
productive. I don't think this is productive. Look, I'm not running away, but like you're not being genuine with this conversation. I'm trying to have a productive dialogue, and it's just, look, you need to go and reflect and talk with your God, our God, right? And figure out what. You can call me running. I don't give a shit, guys. I'm literally not engaging with someone that doesn't want to engage with me. I will come back if he wants to talk on another day. I'd be more than happy to. But right now, there's 2 other people in the guest request. I want this to be productive. Oh, God. Let's do this one. Look, that might have got 1 second. I'm sorry, man. That might have got heated. I'm sorry. I'm in control of my emotions to the point where I can settle down. I can calm down. There's ways to do this. I'm breathing, right? And I'm gonna breathe 2 more times. If you guys want to do it with me, you can, right? 1, 2, 3. One more time. Awesome, man. Appreciate you breathing along. You guys are great. Look, it was heated because I'm not gonna get into it. It's the past. It's the past. You guys can document it. You guys can make your own conclusions on what you want to believe. But we're talking with another man right now. And how you doing, man?
I don't know yet. I'm supposed to get paid today, so when I get paid, maybe I'll find out how I'm doing. What about you?
Hopefully you get paid. Hopefully you get paid. I'm doing good. It's been actually really great past week, but just in general, talking with people on TikTok, I think is amazing. People have helped me understand how to be better, and people have brought different ideas to me to understand, and I think that's been fantastic. Just to be being curious and being open to different ideas, I think is really fascinating.
If I may help, the word is epistemology. Right?
Epistemology. So I was totally butchering it. Epistemology. Epistemology. I've heard about it, but I've not epistemologized myself very much.
Yeah, so it's just like the background information. Let's say like before you start a game, like there's this running code that start everything else in the game. For example, like
Okay.
let's say I start Call of Duty, and there's this like basic code before everything in Call of Duty start. That's what would be the background for epistemology. That's what he was trying to like explain to you.
It's like
That
the
you have like
background,
some
so it's
kind of thing.
it's like the logic, like how it works, like zeros and ones, right? All
Yeah.
doing the thing to create something that is. Is that right?
Yeah. So
Right.
like
So I can
the
understand it.
the logic says like you have to have like a precondition like to allow those numbers that needs to be there in order for to allow like for the game to run, like some kind of background information to everything, which is
Hmm.
what he's asking you. So he's asking you like how like what background information you have for allowing for knowledge to exist.
Right. And I can go through my whole life story, what I do for a career. It's really like it literally, I'm thankful for my past and grateful for it, even though I don't wish it on anyone else, because a lot of bad was done, but a lot of good too, right? And I look, I've heavily reflected on myself, who I am as an individual, and others around me, and tried to understand why people have done me wrong, as a way for me to not repeat what they've done. So ending generational trauma, I guess, is one way you can put it. I've talked with countless people. I was a peer mentor in college. People have opened up to me and shared things, and I really appreciate that. And I was able to be supportive for them and just being there and listening. And that's proof that I was doing good there, right? But look, I've also done bad. I am bipolar 1. I'm on medication. I've had 3 manic episodes, and I blasphemized, and some Christians would call me evil, right? Because I thought I was Jesus 2.0 back then in 2022. And it led to interesting things, and it got chaotic. I understand I do not want to think that way again. But there's things I've gathered from that I've took with me to help me understand how to be today. I'm a 3D
Yeah.
artist. So I understand the zeros and ones. Literally, I've helped, fuck, I'm gonna say it. I worked on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the Marvels, a few other TV shows and movies. I literally bring life as an animator to dead pixels on a screen that is code and math that show a character to a point where I can manipulate this character, Cosmo the dog, for instance. It's a dog in an astronaut suit, and it's fake, it's fiction, it's not real, but I bring life to this dog, and what does that mean, right? So I think about things in a micro to a macro sense on different layers, from the present to the future to the past, and I can understand what that means for myself. I'm not a prophet. I can envision, like anyone can envision the future. I see harmony. I don't know if it's going to be possible in my lifetime, but I believe if we start talking about these ideas like this, we can get to that, or we can at least help our children get to that, or their children can help them get to that. And that's what the point of it all is. So we continue to thrive as the human species together.
Yeah, but this all come after, right? Like the Call of Duty, how to like
Guys,
you
I'm
talking
not
about your
confusing
life.
CGI with life. Oh my god. Sorry.
You
I'm
you talk
gonna ignore the comments because people are just not getting it. Anyways,
yeah. So the life come after, right? I'm talking about the things that allows you to even say that there is life, because those are knowledge claims.
saying there is
It's the
life.
precondition. The precondition, yeah. Life is a knowledge claim. Knowing that any things that you think you know is a knowledge claim. Like even saying I is a knowledge claim. Even the
Okay.
use of language will be a knowledge claim. So
Right.
what he was asking you was more like the background information that even allow for the precondition of knowledge, which is before that, just like the 0 and 1. But in
So
this case
before
of the
my knowledge,
yeah, but just like not the 0 and 1, right? You would be the one like one of the soldiers in Call of Duty, and you have to explain that. Well, I know the 0 and 1 and what the condition to allow 0 and 1 to exist in this world.
look,
So what
I
he was
can
asking you,
yes, I can take that concept and I can say people that are not with God are zeros and people that are with God are ones, and we should keep counting and keep counting and keep counting and
yeah,
keep
but those
counting
people,
and
those
keep counting
people,
and keep
those
counting and
people
keep
are
counting and keep counting because this is an
if I
abstract thought. This is an abstract thought. I skipped this on purpose. It's an abstract thought. Counting is an abstract thought. I'm trying to teach people is doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's a contradiction, okay? It's a
yeah.
contradiction, but people believe it, so we have to fucking deal with it, okay?
So
Do you understand?
that 0 and 1 here will be transcendental. Do you know what a transcendental is?
Transcendental? I do not.
Yes, that's probably why you couldn't answer this question. So when it comes to transcendental things, which will be the precondition of knowledge, because knowledge cannot fail. Because in order for knowledge to fail, you would have to know, which would be a contradiction. So knowledge in itself would be transcendental in its very essence,
Look,
which is
look,
what
I'm
you.
not, look, I'm not, it's interesting, but I'm not claiming to know everything just because I'm with
Yeah,
God.
but it's not about knowing everything. It's about knowing the basics.
What do you mean by the basics?
Yeah, well, the basics for
Okay,
even
so
not well,
fear is the root cause of all unnecessary
yeah,
suffering.
but fear for
If we
fear.
can eradicate fear from the mind, we can lead more productive lives.
Yeah,
We
but
can
fear
be
assuming. Well,
I'm not
but fear is
assuming. This
assuming a
is a
mind.
pattern. This is a pattern that's true.
Yeah, but fear is assuming a mind. It's making too many assumptions. I'm talking about the root for
I'm
all
not making
assumptions.
assumptions.
Okay, how do you know
What's
there
an
is fear?
assumption? What's an assumption I'm making?
Wait, how do you know there is fears?
I can understand how people react. I can test it out in myself. I can fearlessly look inside, and I can fearlessly understand other people around me. And
How
I
do you
can
know
go
there
out.
is an
I can
I?
listen. I can go out into the world. I can talk with people, and if they indicate by facial expressions, micro expressions, how they move their body, how they phrase their words, literally how they phrase their words, I can understand if that person is judgment and fear, and it stems from fear. If they're worried, it stems from fear. If they're concerned, it stems from fear. If they are ignorant, it stems not all the time. If they are in hatred, they stems from fear. If they do violence, it stems in fear. Do you understand? We
There's
don't have to act in that way. We can be better. And what I mean by this, and I'm going to teach you another simple thing, is mercy. And what does that mean? Is when someone reacts, we shouldn't react back. We shouldn't. We ought to have mercy, to understand why they're reacting in the first place, and guide them and align as humans.
there's four assumptions. If I may
That's
point out,
not full of assumptions.
let me
That's
one.
true to me and
Yeah,
other
the
people I've
first as
talked with.
yes, the first assumption is there's an I, and that language is true. The
What
second,
do you mean?
how
I
do
as
you know that you
Brady.
exist?
I am thinking, therefore I am.
Yeah, that's assuming that language is
I think
true.
you're splitting hairs, and I don't think
Or
it's really
why
interesting.
why would I be presenting to one individual and not two?
Well, look, I mean it. Look, this is why we have to define things, and what you mean by I isn't always what I mean by I. What I mean by I, in my own way of understanding what I means, and this is where you have to understand my truth and jump into my worldview. I, when I say I, it means Brady. When you say I, now I'm thinking it's two people. Who's the second person that is I with you?
Yeah, but you're assuming language, and why would language be
No,
even
no.
true?
Do you hold this true when you say I? Are you talking about two people or
Yeah,
are you talking
but
about one people?
yeah, but when I
No,
say it,
listen. I'm
the
asking you a simple question. I'm asking you a simple question.
yeah, I hold to one person, but I have a
But
justification for that. You don't.
why do you say two people then?
No, I'm saying like in your stance, I want you to give me justification why it's not two people. Because it's an assumptions that you're making. That's what I'm saying. What he was explaining to you
It's not an
is that
assumption because it's true to me. Like it's true to
how do you
me,
know?
and I'm explaining why. Because when I say I mean Brady. I'm not meaning two people.
Yeah, I know you what you say. I know you think you means Brady. What I'm asking is your justification into why you think you means Brady.
Okay, it's really interesting. I don't claim to know everything if God is
It's
with
not
me, right?
everything. That's a basic question about I. I'm not asking you about the universe or the black holes.
I was taught by someone else that I means one singular individual, and that is the person that is talking.
Like, how do you know that's true?
I don't know, but I'd like to
Hmm,
believe that
That's what I'm
Brady
gonna
is
help you
talking
with.
right now. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through this.
So you want me to help
Well,
you with
we're gonna walk each
epistemology?
other through it. We're gonna walk each other through it. Help me understand. Help me understand, please, because like
Okay, great. So
apparently
when
I'm
it
just
yes, so when it comes to the precondition for knowledge, there needs to be a transcendental and which can't fail to exist, right? So this transcendental has to make things with purposes.
it
So for
has to
example,
make
for
things. What has to make things for
purposely,
purposes?
yes,
What does?
yes. For example, a knife for cutting, right? We
Wait,
understand things have ontological purposes into the way they exist, right?
right.
I've
Sorry.
run in mind.
What has to make things?
Yes, this transcendental being. There has to be a
Transcendental as
transcend.
being a god. Is that what you define God as?
Yes, the
So
God would be
trans.
transcendental, and he has to not fail.
I'm trying to understand your language. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
splitting my eye. You're splitting my eye. So I'm gonna do the same thing with your language right now. It's really
Mm-hmm.
unproductive. But I'm gonna ask you what you mean by transcendental.
Yeah, transcendental means that well, it can't fail, and him not existing is impossible. That's mean in a world where he doesn't exist, things
Doesn't
in itself
fail.
doesn't make sense.
Okay, he doesn't fail, and nothing's impossible.
He will be
Wait.
the zeros and one in Call of Duty.
Okay. So transcendental is literally like the code that allows things to be. So it's like
Yes,
logic in a sense, maybe, or like
yeah,
just the
but
way the
he's
universe
like before
is.
logic.
And
He's
I
before
can
logic.
respect that. I can
Yes,
respect
because
that.
logic would be a concept that exists in the mind. While logic doesn't extend in causal relation. Just because you take of zeros and ones doesn't mean that those zeros and ones cause things anything at all. There has to be a mind that imposes those zeros and one to actually cause it.
I see. So that makes sense, and it like that resonates with me and how I think about this too. The one force driving us up that I know is good by how I can be for other people, right?
Yeah, yeah. So when it comes to that being, right, it has to be impossible for him to not exist, and which we call the Christian God, right? And
We call the Christian God, or
yeah,
we
the
call
reason
the
why it would be the reason
Islam,
why
or we as in Hinduism, or we as
yeah,
in
because Hinduism, the reason why it
who's
wouldn't be
we?
Hinduism, what we would be, we here would be all the humanity because we depends on him to exist.
But all of humanity doesn't believe in Christianity,
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that Christianity is false. Let me say, when I'm saying
right?
we can partake in something and believe it's false. That doesn't mean that we don't partake in it.
Interesting. I would have a bunch of questions
For
for you, but
you
we can
want me
keep
to
going
give
with
you an example?
with where you're going.
Do you want me to give you an example of what I mean? For example,
Yes,
we believe that the earth was flat, but we partake in a one earth without knowing it.
we have actually tested this out. I think what's his name? Carl. Ah, man. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
believe the Earth
I'm
is round.
sorry.
I believe the
Li-
Earth is round, host. I'm
Right,
saying
but
that he.
people were able to figure this out without going to space, right? Like
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
piece of
some
paper.
people, but majority of the people believe that he was flat.
Right. Imagine how people even found this out in the first place, right?
Yeah, I don't
I think
mind
they
that,
knew.
but
I believe they knew what this was in order
yeah,
to figure that out.
yeah, but by what I'm saying is that we partake in something. We still partake in the round Earth, while we think the Earth was flat. We take the round Earth for granted, while we think the Earth was flat. But I'm saying that what we
Currently,
think,
we take
yes,
it
we
for granted.
partake.
What
By
who's
part,
we?
we as the human population, we partake in
The
this
whole
round Earth.
human population takes the earth for granted. That's a knowledge claim. That's an assumption too.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I'm giving you an analogy that back in the day,
But
right?
you're
Listen to the
assuming, like I was apparently.
yeah, listen to what I'm saying,
See
right?
how disingenuous that argument is? But I'm gonna
The
track
argument
with
that
you. I'm gonna track with your hypothetical here.
yeah, it's an
Saying
analogy, right? I'm
and
saying what we partake. We can
right,
think something is true
right.
while we partake in the wrong thing. That doesn't because we believe in something mean it's true. I'm saying that we
So yeah, so
believe.
I can say just because Christians believe in God doesn't mean it's true, but that's not right for me
No,
to
no,
say
I'm,
because
yeah,
I don't believe that, right? I believe there's truths to Christianity, but I believe there's truths to all different religions, and people have just been trying to figure this out. And
but only the
I,
Christian world you can ground truth, unnecessary being. Because when
how
it
do you
comes
know
to
that?
yes, because the impossibility of the contrary.
The impossibility of the contrary, the impossible that another God exists,
Yeah, because those other gods doesn't reflect what the world reflect. For
like
example, when we
what?
see, yeah, the problem of the one and the money, only Christianity solves that.
Christians and Muslims believe in the same. It's Abrahamic God.
No, we
Yes, I
don't
know that.
believe in the same. Their God is one, our God is a Trinity. The
Well,
the
all okay.
personhood is
So
differently.
that's interesting because it's like because okay, different Christian like not all Christians believe like literally the same thing. Like you guys can't even
Well,
figure it out. There's so many denominations. Like figure it out, guys. But
yeah, yeah.
literally, like you're saying
Can I
Christianity
answer?
is true, and there's so many denominations, and then
Can I answer?
you're saying an Abrahamic God is different than Islam
Yeah.
too.
So the answer would be people can call themselves whatever they want, but only historically, if you look at historically speaking, only one type of Christian can call themselves Christian normatively, right? So
Only
people can
one
call
type of
themselves a
Christian.
vegan.
What's that Christian? Who is that
Yeah.
Christian?
So if you go like back into the first, second century, you can track those people that was Christian in the first place, and
Who
those
are
one that
they?
was not.
Are they Orthodox? Are they Presbyterian? Are they
They are
Catholic?
Orthodox.
Orthodox. So I've heard Orthodox. Third time I've heard Orthodox from a Christian. I wrote it down. I'm gonna try to visit an Orthodox church sometime soon,
Yeah, you
because
should.
because I'm curious, literally, why you guys believe that to be true. Because it's true to you, right? Just like Islam is true to them. Just like Hinduism is true to them. Just like Hellenistic polytheism is true to them. And there's truths that align if we can communicate without reacting. Do you understand?
I understand what you mean, but to justify the truth are two different things. If for you to say that those are true in the first place, you have to be able to justify the basic truth.
Right, and that's why I want to be curious and take in data and understand these people, right? I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah,
I can't claim them to be. I don't know much about Islam. I don't know
yeah.
really jack crap about Hinduism. I don't know, like someone came up on live last week and they were fantastic, explaining different gods that they worship in the Greek gods, showed me their shrines and how that's helped them. Do you understand how Christianity alienates certain people like LGBTQ people?
Yeah, but we alienate people all the time in our life. Would you not be agree to alienate people that are attracted to minors?
Guys, I'm on my medication, guys. Two tone, I appreciate being concerned, but like I'm on my medication. If this isn't tracking to you, I would say be not afraid. I'm not what you think. Just be curious, please.
Yeah. Do you hear what I just said?
No, because I got
Yeah,
distracted by the comments. I needed to not get distracted by the
yeah.
comments. So thank you.
So we alienate people all the time. For example, would you agree that we can alienate people that are attracted to minors?
We can alienate. Look, it's obviously wrong but like we have to understand why people do that in the first place, so that doesn't happen in the future, right?
Yeah, they
Because
just attracted. It's a mental brain capacity. Some of them just mentally attracted to it. It's it's a mental it's a
why do
mental.
you think that's the case?
The
I have a
DSM-5.
hypothesis. I have an assumption I can say. I'm not going to say it out loud because it's an assumption,
The
but it's
DSM-5 classic.
the patterns that I've understood people that um, act in those ways. They've been harmed by someone, right?
Yeah, it's true, but that doesn't justify because
It doesn't
I'm harmed
justify
by
it.
someone.
No, I'm not trying to defend these people, but I'm saying we ought to understand why it happens so we can look, see, don't repeat bad, right?
It,
I'm simplifying these ideas so we can all understand what it means
yeah.
in our
And the
own ways.
DSM-5, we understand that just their brain that are chemically attracted to it. So
Does
it's
the
there's nothing
DSM-5
to
know
change.
everything about the mind?
Not necessarily, but that's how they
Right.
classified it as.
Right, and that's the knowledge they have now. Like it's flat. They're on the flat Earth. I'm telling you, it's round.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. I see what you mean. But
Analogy? Do
I'm
you
saying,
understand analogies? Yeah, because you used one too. And look, I'm not trying to be condescending, but like you're really making this more complicated than it has to be. I'm really just telling
what
you.
did I do? What did I do?
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm really just being honest. Like you're making this more complicated than it has to be. The questions are
It's
fine. The questions are fine. I do appreciate the questions, but it's not that complicated.
But we alienate people, like people that commit crimes, for example.
Right,
We
and
alienate them. So
we ought to
that's
collectively shun, but also do it in a way where they can recover and never do that again.
you gotta be careful with these art claims because you cannot give a justification for the is and art problem.
So
You gotta be
you
very
think
careful.
P3DOs shouldn't be shunned by people?
Now, justification for is and art problem come
Do
after
you
the.
think P3DOs should not be shunned by people?
I think so, but that doesn't justify
Okay, so
the reason
you
why
can
I think so.
understand why I said it.
I'd say I think so. I have a
You
justification
think
why
so. You think so, but because you and your subjective truth and how you view the world,
I don't believe.
it aligns. You are subjectively thinking right now. It aligns with how I subjectively think.
Yeah, just because I subjectively think doesn't mean that the proposition in itself is not objectively true.
And we figured that out together. And would you say P3DOs are bad?
Yeah, but
Okay,
P3DOs it's an
yes, they
ensemble.
exist. I would
Yeah,
say P3DOs are bad too.
yeah,
And maybe only me and you right now, and I don't know if anyone else in the chat wants to put their say in, but me and you right now, we can say like, hey, let's call it objective truth. Let's How about that? Do you agree? Would that be an objective truth between
let
me and
yeah,
you?
I
Between me
think
and you?
I think
Between
it's
me and
an
you?
objective truth, but
Right.
I
Between
can
me and you.
justify it. Like for example,
Right.
if there's
Between
a
me and you,
math
that's not
problem.
is an objective truth.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
but listen, if there's a math problem, right, and we know that 2 + 2 = 4, for example, and then the professor wanna find out which one actually knows why 2 + 2 = 4, and he said, well, how did you come to that conclusion, right? One will show that, well, I have two things, and I had another two things, right, and it goes from one thing which go to three and then four, so that's how we know 2 + 2 = 4, right?
Yes.
But
And what
when
comes
they
after
ask
4?
the other student, how 2 + 2 = 4, it just is. Well, don't we agree that 2 + 2 = 4? And yes, we agree, but that's different from just find out that if you actually know how 2 + 2 = 4, which is what the question is right now.
Yes, yes, and you know it. So look, you hear it from people. It's become common knowledge from another person that 2 + 2 = 4. But this other individual, the individual knows that 1 + 1 + 1
Mm-hmm.
+ 1 = 4, right? Or 2 + 2 =
Mm-hmm.
4, or 3 + 1 = 4, or 4 + 0 = 4. What comes after 4? What comes after 4? I'm gonna give you a hint.
5.
5. What comes after 5?
Yeah. So what I'm
What
explaining
come
by that is,
no, listen. I'm explaining you something really important. And it's just like it's an abstraction just like with numbers. What comes after 5?
6.
Okay. How many fingers am I holding up?
Um, y- Holding up.
Yeah, how many fingers
About
am I?
like Well, I can't see the other fingers if you block it with your
Okay.
wrist. 5.
Right. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. How many fingers am I holding up?
5.
Okay. Right. And now 1, 2, 3. How many fingers am I holding up?
7,
What comes after 7?
8,
What comes after 8?
9,
What comes after 9?
10.
Right. Do you see what I did there?
I failed now. I don't know what you're talking about.
I skipped a number, and you were still able to count past 7.
Yeah,
Do you
but that doesn't
understand?
justify it.
Do you understand? It's an abstraction. People believe this thing exists. I don't believe it.
You don't
But
believe numbers exist?
people believe this exists, and I'm saying because of that, we have to fucking deal with it. It doesn't exist, but it's a contradiction on purpose. I contradict myself on purpose to prove a point. An abstraction of this is not a thing, but people make it a thing, so we have to fucking deal with it. Okay? Do you understand? And I counted because we all understand what that means in our own way, and we don't do.
Okay, so you don't agree that numbers exist then? As a person that make games?
Look, I just taught you a lesson. What do you think about that?
That you don't believe that the number 6 exists and that 3 people agree that it exists.
Dude, it's abstraction. It's an abstraction. If man is 5, if man is 5, if man is 5, then the devil is 6. 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 Then God is 7. Then God is 7. Then
Yeah, God is
God
7.
is 7. This monkey's gone to heaven. Pixies, they know this. They literally know this, and you don't. I'm sorry, but I'm teaching you, and the pixies are too. If anyone knows the pixies, this monkey's gone to heaven. You can learn how to count and also abstract ideas to understand in your own way.
Okay, so what I was explaining is that
So what do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Well, I think you think that abstract numbers don't exist.
And the devil is 6.
And the
You
devil
didn't
is
listen.
6 and
You didn't listen.
and God is 7.
Right. And what's 5?
I don't think you told me what 5 is. Was it us?
You're not listening very well. You are really bad at listening. I'm going to say, look up the pixies, this monkey's gone to heaven, and do your own research. I'm going to go to...
Okay. Have a
I
good
don't know
day,
if this
man.
is productive to have a conversation. Like, it's been good, but there is no one else here. Okay, so I guess I'll keep talking with you. What else do you want to get to?
Yeah, so I was getting to the example of one can justify the numbers and one can't, right? And that's just an analogy, not saying it's the principality which I'm
Right, but
bringing
one
it forward.
understands what that means.
Yes.
The other
So the other
heard
one,
it. The other heard it from another
the other
person.
heard it, right? And then think it's common knowledge. Just because we all think 2 plus 2 equals 4 does not justify what 2 plus 2
Right,
equals 4.
and
What do you think?
you're
What do you
explaining
think the
concepts
professor?
I've think about. I've thought these concepts in
What
ways,
what
and
do you
I can
think the
explain.
professor? What do you think the professor is gonna do with the child that don't know how or
Prophecy?
why 2 plus 2 equals 4?
What prophecy?
The professor, the teacher,
Professor? Who is the professor?
the prof. My bad. The teacher.
Who is the teacher?
The teacher asking the child a question why 2 plus 2 equals 4.
Who? Okay, so so the professor is the teacher, and
A professor is a teacher.
okay, I never heard of a teacher called a professor before. What is a professor in your own words?
It's professor. Do you know what that
Okay.
word means?
I'm asking you not to spell it, and you don't listen well.
A
I'm
professor is a
asking
teacher.
you what it means in your own words. Don't spell
Yeah,
it.
it's a
Literally,
teacher. It's one
just-
one who teached.
it's one who teaches. Okay, so a professor means one who teaches. You're teaching me words I have never heard of before, and I appreciate you for that. But I'm gonna, like, when I don't understand something, I'm gonna ask you what you mean so we can get on the same page and so we can engage in healthy dialogue. And like, I believe this is going well. And anyways, so the teacher, in your words, is telling this child 2 plus 2 equals 4. And what about this professor are we concerned about?
Yes, but the professor will ask the kids, what do you think he's gonna do with the kid that don't know why 2 + 2 = 4?
We should ask, the professor should ask, but they should see signs um, that indicate that that person isn't seen in their own way. Does that make sense? And
Yeah, but two
they
plus
can see, they can see facial expressions. They could see where they can see, like, if they're like like if they don't remember that's four, but then like, oh yeah, and count on their fingers. But then they see them count on their fingers, and that's not a bad thing. I was told counting on my fingers as a kid was bad, but it really helps me today because I'm not good at math, right? So if they see, if the teacher sees this, that means they're like, yeah, 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 they get it. Or if they're like this, and they're
yeah,
like,
but
yeah,
this
they get it. Or if they're like, there's ways to teach this, man, and you can talk to your kids. If you have kids and you're concerned that they're not picking up numbers very well, you can be like this. What does this mean, Billy? Billy. Okay, how much? 3? Good, good. What does this mean? 4.
yeah,
Right.
that's not what
Bill
I'm trying to
Billy.
mean.
I'm telling you, as the teacher, I'm teaching people how to teach their kids, right? I don't have kids, but I'm sure I'd be a great father. So 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And then 1, 1, 2, 3, and that all equals 4, Billy. Do you understand? And I want you to repeat what I said, Billy.
Yeah, Billy, why you said 1, 2, 1, 2, and this will equals 4, Billy, right? But that's not the example. But I'm gonna be going because I
Okay.
don't think you trying to go with the analogy that I'm trying to give.
I
So
just
I'm
don't
gonna
think
be
you're picking
going
up what I'm
soon.
putting down, buddy. But I
But I'm the one that
appreciate.
explaining you the epistemology thing. But
Look,
you're not trying to
I'm
listen.
explaining to you what you're trying to find right now, and I'm sure you'll find it. I believe you can. And
Oh, I already find everything I need to find. I already find God, and that's all I needed.
with how you talk and how you listen don't indicate that. But I believe you can be better, and I'll be better
Well,
too.
you
We
you can justify your epistemic background, so I don't know you can say
You
that, but
can't. You definitely didn't demonstrate it.
well, I did. God exists. God guiding me to epistemology. That's
Well,
justification.
I'll believe you, but like if we're getting into the why, I don't understand.
Yeah,
You
because
didn't
God
demonstrate it
cannot.
in a way.
Yeah, because God cannot possibly fail. God is transcendental because of all
Okay.
these categories, and God created my mind to understand and navigate this external world,
And
right?
yeah,
And which
that's
would
I
create
can
that the
understand.
which would create an identity distinction between me and other object. Therefore, I can say that I is existing because there's an identity that's distinct from others' identity state. Do you see the distinction between my justification and yours?
Can you explain the I again?
Yeah, the I would just simply that God, the Christian God, with choose revealing in his second revelation says that he create things with precise identity state that is distinct from other identity state. In which case, since it's distinctive, right, then there is something that called Y as a distinctive identity state from other identity state that exist.
Can you explain this with numbers?
This is more than numbers, unfortunately.
Can you
It's way
simplify it for a 5-year-old
yeah.
to
So
understand?
this
Because
zero
people,
and one.
if you truly understand a concept very well, you can use numbers to,
Yeah, the
um,
zero and one,
okay,
zeros and one, created other numbers for it to exist, like 4. Let's say I'm number 4, and the zero and ones
you are number
categorically,
4.
yeah. Let's
Okay,
say because numbers
interesting.
will not keep. Let's say I'm number 12, right? The
Wait, you're
zero,
12 now. What, you were 4
yeah,
before, now you're 12. Dude, why don't you just get this straight and
yeah,
say
yeah. Let's say I'm
1?
number
Why aren't you just 1?
because God would be the zero and one.
Okay, so God's the 0 and 1, and you're 6.
I'm 4.
You're 4. Why not 5?
I'm just using that as an analogy.
Do you have 5 fingers?
Yes, I'm trying to use numbers as it, but numbers is very limited.
I taught you that 5. The Pixies taught me that 5
The
means
pixies
human.
are 5, right?
Right.
And Satan
So
is 6,
you're a human.
and God is 7.
I believe you're a human. I believe you're a human. So I literally was teaching you about numbers, and you got it totally wrong, and that's
Yeah, you
okay.
don't believe. You told me the pixies are 5, Satan is 6, and God is 7. I heard everything
Right.
you
It's
just said.
common knowledge, common sense, kind of.
Oh,
if you know.
No,
Anyways,
God
it
is
was
dead
good
and
having
he's a
you up.
common.
It was good having you up.
Oh, I appreciate
And
it, man. Go to an Orthodox
uh,
church when you have time,
we
okay?
can talk. We can talk again in the future. I believe this was productive, and I appreciate you coming up. Okay, cool. So far, I thought this prompt was gonna go a lot better than my other one. But I've been hammered by believers, literally hammered. God is your faith. As long as you have faith, your God will always be with you, whether others believe. Right, I believe that, and you know it in your own way. Um, yeah, I believe that's true to you, and it resonates with me too. So I appreciate that comment. It's really interesting how argumentative Christians get. In my experience, I'm in the United States, so it's predominantly the most popular religion. It's really interesting how argumentative and just like they kind of just want to be right, and they don't know it because I can tell when people have it, and I can tell when people don't. Um, it's how they act, right? If the individual, look, I'll explain it again. Fear is the root cause of unnecessary suffering. If the individual can eradicate fear in the mind, they can lead more productive lives. They can hopefully make less mistakes in the future. This doesn't mean I am perfect. Doesn't mean I know everything, but I know what I don't know. And when I don't know, I remain curious and I try to understand. And what's this mean, right? So like react. Christian versus Christian versus Christian, Catholic versus Orthodox versus Protestant versus whatever. React. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. No, guys, calm down. Mercy. Mercy for me means if someone reacts in a certain way, I ought to be curious and understand where they're coming from so we can talk and align, right? But this only works if people are engaged. And it's like kind of like a dance, guys. If we know how to dance. I'm learning how to dance still. I'm not the best dancer. And I'm learning how to communicate better with every single person I talk to. And this, look, it's really interesting. And what I know, I believe everyone else can know too, in their own unique and beautiful ways. People already do this. Musicians speak the truth. Filmmakers speak the truth in their stories. Philosophers, right? Scientists. There's like people that do people. I'm not the first person to understand this, right? I'm the first person to explain it in a way that makes sense to me, and I hope it makes sense to other people to find on their own, if that makes any sense. What's happening? I'm just explaining and preaching. So I'll stop preaching. I'd rather just talk with someone. But like part of it is just like saying my truth so people recognize it. And this has happened yesterday. Well, someone else explained their subjective truth, and it aligned with my subjective truth, and we were able to have good dialogues. And I'm like, you know it, and it's really fun when that moment happens. Ashton, I talked with two believers. They're both Christian, and they got argumentative. And they're like, "How do you know? How do you know?" I'm like, "Calm down, calm down." I try not to react, but I did react a couple times, especially with the first person I had up. I ought to be better. I should have mercy and understand, but I also think it's important to show how reacting can lead to escalation, and how we ought not to do that. Emotional regulation, yes, it's literally emotional intelligence. I don't think I'm really that smart, because when people talk about epistemology or whatever, I don't know all this shit, but I'm emotionally intelligent to where I know the simple stuff for me that works for me, and I'm able to hopefully talk about it if people are not. Look, when people think I'm bipolar, and I am, I'm on medications, but they already villainize me. They already put me into a box. And if I say something that is new to them, like it's a new idea that they haven't thought on their own, they get confused. And when in confusion and in fear, they're like, bad, bad, bad. Look, I can explain countless stories of how people have perceived me. I just want to be myself, Brady, living in a world with everyone without people being fucking scared of who I am. And it's really sad. And people have been kind to me. Like, this isn't me just being like all humans are bad. In order to be who I am, I ought to believe that humans are good, right? And people can resonate with this. And I know people resonate with this because I know stories. I know people who don't feel like themselves. I know people who think they're bad, but they only do good. And I know people who are bad and can do good too. It's like this is not rocket science. We are the human race. We are humans. No one is above. No one is below. I am Brady. I'm telling you, I found something that is true to me. Please be curious. Be not afraid. I'm not what you think. I'm not what you might think. Ego personality is not that pure awareness. Ego personality is not that pure awareness. I don't know what you mean, voluntary. Ego personality is not that pure awareness. I don't know. We are all human here. Yes, we are all human. Yes, but people forget that and they villainize people. They literally look down on people who are different than them. So you're interacting with egos as you have one. I mean, I think to a certain degree everyone does, but I try not to. I believe I'm trying my best to communicate an idea, and it comes across to people in ways if they're not engaged properly. So people can't be bad. People can be bad. I never said people can't be bad, but to touch on the awareness beyond. I don't know what you mean by, if you want to come up and talk about that, I'd be curious to understand what you mean, voluntary awareness beyond the ego. That's curious. I'm curious. Hello.
Hey man, how's it going?
It's going okay. I thought this live was going to go a lot better than my last live. Because literally I put, I am evil, prove me wrong. And people were like really nice. And then I put God is with me and I'm getting attacked by Christians. Anyways, I'm not trying to be argumentative either, but I'm reacting and that's bad and I need to get better. But anyways, that's how I'm doing, and that's honest. And that's my truth.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate the honesty. I would just, I have some thoughts on this. Whenever I approach, this topic, God is with me, God is with you, God is within you, that type of topic, you have to understand that there's an awareness that seats behind the consciousness. The consciousness deals with the five senses, right?
Okay.
And this is like consciousness or personality or ego. All these things are derived from relationships to our environment and to others. And this is a tool that we use to interact with others, but it doesn't necessarily hit on the truth, which is that awareness that is the primacy of what I believe, the universe. There's an awareness all around me. I can move my awareness, right? Like, if someone knocks on the door, my awareness goes to the door. If my toe hurts, my awareness is in my toe. People want to put awareness in a box, and that's not what it is.
That's interesting how you explain that, but I appreciate how you explain that. Okay. So that's not what awareness is. What would you describe what awareness means for you?
So I think the biblical texts describe it as I am. Like God is I am, that I amness of yourself. It's within every single person. So my broader point is, you're taking, especially when you talk about God, you're taking like a non-dualistic, non-good, non-evil, but both at the same time, yin and yang, correct?
What do you think I mean by God?
Whenever I see God, like in a chat or something, I just attribute it to the one God, this divine awareness that's in everything and around everyone,
Right.
that holds everything together. But
Yes.
is
How
unaffected
you?
by.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
How
Sorry.
you explain that aligns with how I see it too.
Yeah, and the unchanging part of our universe, right? Like we are in a universe of material and karma, like cause and effect. That's what karma is. Like is Newton's third law. Every action has a equal reaction. We live in a universe of duality. Even our minds are split down the middle. We are mirror images of each other. If you put a mirror on your nose, your body is a reflection. It's all dualistic, right?
Does it have to be dualistic?
No, that's the
Right.
message I bring.
Right. Yes, and someone told me about this too, and I want you to explain it in your words because it's really fascinating hearing about this.
It's essentially for me, and I can only give my perspective on it, right?
Right.
So non-dualism is essentially seeing light and dark, good and evil, up and down.
You know it. I'm just gonna keep saying it because you know it, but keep going.
And looking at the truth in it all, right? So you don't sacrifice one understanding or the other. It's not this to say that you can't be good or bad, but it's understanding the truth in it all. And that's a non-dualistic,
It's
correct?
whole. It's not split. It's whole. It's not split. It's whole. Right?
Correct.
You understand it. This is why what my topic yesterday was I'm evil, prove me wrong. I've got so many kind people. There's a couple that were disingenuous, and I reacted out of that. But I was doing it as like a teaching lesson, right? And look, I don't claim to know everything, but like what I know is good because other people resonate with it like you, right? So this is why I say prove I'm evil. I don't believe in evil, but other people do. So we have to fucking deal with it. It's a contradiction. I contradict myself on purpose, right? Because this thing that other people believe in, they believe in it, and that's true to them. So we have to navigate that in a clever way. Do you understand?
Yeah, there's some rules for it. Essentially, you can't say that you are awake to this non-dualistic perspective, because if you
I was
bring
taught.
that forth, well, either way, if you bring that forth immediately, just think of people who say like, I'm enlightened, I'm awake, or whatever. Do
What's
you
that
initially?
mean? What's that mean?
Yeah. So
Right,
you
right.
initially look at them with guards, right? And this truth is not something that can be explained, but it's something that can be felt and realized.
I believe yes, you know it, but it can't. Simple things can be explained for the individual to go back into their mind and reflect and find it on their own. I believe that
Sure.
can be, and people have done this, and people know what I know because you're speaking it right now. Musicians speak about this, filmmakers speak about this, philosophers speak about this, politicians might. I'm not gonna get there. Scientists talk about this, and I believe like we progress and we become better and have original thoughts. What does that mean, right? We get original thoughts to progress, to survive as humans because of this idea.
Yeah, and Darwin put something down there is another reason why you don't talk about it, like directly, right? And saying I
About
am.
it.
Well, no, you can talk about it, but not directly. Like I am enlightened and such. Like so, he says
Why?
people.
There's fear behind that, but I'm curious.
Right here, he says people that say that they are enlightened publicly just completely contradicts what being enlightened is, meaning
Why?
that you separate yourself from another person saying I'm enlightened, you are unenlightened, I need to wake you up, which denotes a contradiction.
I'm not trying to control people. I'm not trying to well, look, my intention is to teach, right? Do you think if I'm or we are with this thing that what we're doing is intentional right now? Like this is part of the plan?
um for me, like planning and, that denotes like a future, like,
Is your God all
set.
knowing?
Yes, I do. But, because I believe God is everything, right? God is in everything. So God in that
Right.
case would have to be all knowing. He, so and
How do you know
omnipresent
that though?
and
What if it's just like, I don't know, like, what if this guy just didn't really know exactly how it was going to be, but he had faith that good would prevail? Prevail, is that a good word? And he's in everything, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's all knowing. Like, I'm just challenging you on knowledge claims. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just challenging you even further to figure that out on your own. Does that make sense?
yeah. I so when I say God, and Darwin's hitting the nail on the head down here, but it's
It
like
stems with fear,
divine.
though. It stems with fear, and I have a problem about that. But keep going.
When I say God, I mean divine nature or the laws of karma, the
Okay.
laws of cause and effect, and like the natural order of things. And I'll give you an example how you can easily see this in your everyday life.
Okay.
So when you look at like a lion eat a gazelle on Natural Geographic, right? Would you say that's evil?
No, because I don't believe in evil.
Well, I'm
I would
just
say,
this is just a thought
I would say
experiment.
if there was a all good, all loving, all powerful God, I guess an atheist would describe it as being unnecessary suffering. Like, that doesn't have to happen. I would say, what do you mean by unnecessary suffering? And I'd say it's just suffering. It's just how it is and how we perceive reality. And they might be,
Correct.
well, yeah, this God couldn't be all good because of that, or all loving because why? Because Alex O'Connor makes a good point about this. Really good, smart individual, the cosmic skeptic, and he's like, the lion and the zebra run, and the lion violently tears the throat out from the zebra, and that zebra is suffering because. And why would a God do that? But I would say, what if we look, we see, we don't repeat bad? Because there was probably one time in our evolution, to be who we are today, where a human or something corresponding to a human did the same thing to another human, right? And we understand we do not do that, and that it could be good. Do you understand?
Yeah, yeah, I would just extend that reasoning and say that, even the good and evil that you see in the world that humans do is a natural order or a karmic debt that they're paying, right? And they generate new karma by, committing
Well,
other acts that are harmful to others and themselves,
right.
and it just continues the process.
What's
And you just
interesting?
keep
Sorry,
sorry, just one.
sorry. I'm bad. I'm bad.
No, it's my bad. Just one last thought, and if you continue to like separate yourself from others, which is the base of, I say, evil, rather than bring together, you if you continuously do that,
That's not
you
that's
would.
not the intention. People fear
No, not
and they
you,
choose to
not
fear.
you,
Oh,
not
sorry, my
you.
bad,
I'm just
my bad, my bad, my bad. I'm attributing what you're talking about. You're talking at me, but I'll think about this hypothetical in a sense, and I'll step out of that because I was confused what you meant. But sorry. Now I know it's not about me.
Well, I'm just trying my best to explain like a concept in general. I mean, but it's beautiful that you're taking it. See, this is what it's all about,
This
right?
is what it's
Like
all about. You know it.
you relate to what I'm saying in a
Yes.
personal way,
I jump
and
into your worldview. Empathy. It's
yeah.
not new. It's not a new thing. And I jump back out, and then I jump somewhere else. I'm literally exploring universes because our minds are all their own universe. Does that make sense? And how I see things, and I can get into specifics, but it's really interesting that you bring up duality and then you talk about karma. Like, why do you understand duality, and why it doesn't have to be that case, and why do you keep bringing up karma?
Well, because I see. Like I can make that connection. So it's best described in for me to other people the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil in the Garden of Eden.
Right.
So Eve, which is a representation of your emotions, like strive for knowledge, and is tempted by knowledge, then that's the snake. Then as your emotions eat, like delve into this, it's almost like an illusion, like from eating from as what is essentially duality, right? Because
Yeah.
what God said was essentially, I don't want you to eat the fruit, and I'm paraphrasing here, because then you will become like me. You will see the duality, and so we're stuck in duality, which produces ego, religion, government. The way that we source our abundance in our lives and things. Yet that's not the full truth. We have to go back to the Garden of Eden, and be one with God, and that only
Yes.
comes from within.
I understand that's true for you. I understand the truth to it in my own ways, and I am continually trying to understand and practice Genesis. I literally practiced it the past 14 days, 15 days, or actually past month, like literally acting out these stories in a way that makes sense in my own way, right? I can take a word and I can take an idea and try to understand what that means in my own way, right? Which I think is how the text was intended to be read, like
Correct.
with God, and figuring out on your own, right? And for me, I act with my whole body, and I sing, and I think in analogies, and I think in hypotheticals, and I think in parables, and all these different like things, right? To try to understand what are these people trying to find here, and it's really fascinating. I purposely do not claim Christianity as the only truth, because there's other people. If you jump into their worldviews, you talk to a Hellenistic polytheist that believes in the Greek gods. That's true to them. And they ran away from Christianity for a good, I would say, a valid reason, because they didn't feel supported as being an LGBTQ individual. And that's sad that religion distances people, and we should try to understand people.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, anything, if you're teaching, like, not you, like, but if one teaches from a perspective of, if the one who is teaching is the one putting up the walls and excluding and separating, then that's a false teaching, right? Like, it's the truth doesn't need justification. It doesn't need guard. It is what it is, right? And it's a message of oneness and openness, and that's what Jesus talked about.
Right.
He flipped over tables in churches. He said,
Right.
the kingdom of God is at hand, meaning it is with you. He he
Be
said,
not afraid. Be
the
not afraid. Be not afraid. He said that, and that's true.
yeah,
That's true. Literally.
the kingdom of heaven is within. He said this, like all this, like they take his word. Well, you know what they did, man, with religion? They made the spiritual material. They focused on the man rather than his teachings and what he was saying.
Interesting. What do you mean by that? I agree, but I want to hear your words.
Yeah, so essentially this teaching that's in the Bible, people who do what you're doing, right, and they like study the stories and they visualize the stories, they're going to get benefit. But there's
I
a
don't study it religiously. I just know the stories
Sure.
from being indoctrinated into, and I've looked them up in recent times. But I don't claim to know everything about the Bible, by the way. Just
just interest, right? I did the same, right? But like after reading it and stuff and taking it esoterically or inwardly, you can unlock like hidden teachings and hidden knowledge within it, and
trust
that's
me,
what it's about.
Trust me, that's why I say there's truth to it. Look, but in order to be who I am currently, I ought to be willing to understand other people's perspectives and their religions, right? And if I find that Islam is off, or Judaism is off, or the Greek gods is off, or Christianity is off, I'll point to Buddhism. Or look, I don't know, but I will look. I'm trying to understand this in my own way, and people coming up and giving me knowledge is great because I can process that in my own way and understand what that means. But I kind of want to get back to what you said about Darwin making a claim about these teachers or these people claiming that they're enlightened. I can understand where you're coming from with it, but there is fear based behind it. And what I mean by that is, in my own way, I found out that fear is the root cause of all unnecessary suffering. And if the individual can eradicate fear from the mind, then they can lead more productive lives and hopefully make less mistakes in the future. And this doesn't mean I'm perfect. It doesn't mean I know everything, but I know what I don't know to be curious, right? And we look at the world and we can see it can be better, right? You have the left and the right, and the left and the right, and they're back and forth. And this can go from up and down. This can go from diagonal to crisscross. But people are at like odds with each other and react and react. And I'm trying my best not to react to people that react back, right? And a Christian, someone who studies Christianity, told me about mercy, and I was like, that's interesting. And I just recently discovered this on my own. And what does mercy mean for me? It's when someone reacts, is I try to understand why they're reacting in the first place, and I listen and I understand, and then they open up, and then we talk, and then we align. Do you understand?
Yeah, definitely. And I would just extend that thought to say that you always have to sacrifice the physical or your ego driven, or I'm not saying you, but in conversations like this,
I know.
in conversations like this, for me, it helps to, sacrifice my desire to be right or wrong, which gives way to openness. And once you have openness, the truth can be freely expressed without those guards. Those guards that people put up is a very difficult thing to get past a lot of times, because it gives them like temporary, I guess, relief from, running away from, I guess for me, I use different words. I would say non-dualism. Like,
yes. So my only critique on Darwin making that claim is he's claiming that out of fear. And I believe if you are with fear, like, you're not truly with God. And that's a knowledge claim. I know it's very radical. It doesn't mean you can't feel fear, but you shouldn't let your thoughts be consumed by fear, because he's concerned for a good reason. I can understand. But if you're truly with God, like, you would literally share and teach.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and here's how I view that. So, okay, so let's go back to dualism a little bit, and sorry for continuing to reference it.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
So God is evil and good, right? So it's the totality of both. So when you do see fear, you can use it as a teacher of yourself. And people, like, I think it was said in the comment, suffering is necessary for people to understand and learn from their lessons.
Right, but unnecessary suffering doesn't need to exist. Suffering exists, sure.
Correct.
Unnecessary doesn't have to, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's the distinction. But what do you mean God is evil?
So here, let me just finish my thought, right?
My bad.
So God is non-dualistic, meaning, and I'll touch on this. So it's good and evil, but neither in both at the same time. That's a non-dualistic position, right?
I understand. Even though it's a contradiction, I do understand, if that makes sense, because I think you're intently trying to contradict to prove a point.
It's what's happening. It's not that I'm intending to contradict. It's that this conception or this idea is beyond duality. So it is hard to rationalize with your dual mind. It's not something that can be like understood. It's something that has to be felt and experienced. So that's
Yes. You know it, and you know it, and so
so
I appreciate
just let me just touch on this really quick. So let's extend this thought. So, God is neither good nor evil, but both. And, let keep that same line of thinking. And suffering,
Okay, my bad. I'm just curious
suffering
now.
suffering is a teacher, right? And
Right.
so
Right.
here's the thing. Just because you can hold a non-dualistic perspective on something does not negate that there's meaning and cause and effect of good and evil actions, right?
People
So-
apply meaning to anything they want.
Well, good and evil for me is like evil is separateness, is like moving away from others and ideas and not connecting. Then good is bringing together. So the difference between like nuclear and fission in energy. One, you're splitting an atom. One, you're harnessing the energy of the atom coming together.
You're helping me right
One-
now.
Do you see what I mean?
Yes, you look, but I know it's not about me, but like I'm taking it personal in a good way. I react to teach. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I do it in a in the least harmful way I can possibly think of. I don't do it first. I try my best not to do it first. I've tried my best not to do it first my whole life, and I've been very successful at not reacting first. Not to say I've never done that, but I've been really good about not reacting first. When someone else reacts, it depends how they're engaged. And as a teaching moment, I get back into that, right? And then I step away and be like, and that can be confusing to people because it can be manipulative. I can understand how that seems manipulative. Right now I'm sharing thoughts I've never shared with anyone in my whole life, but I think you're one of the people, like the only person I know right now that's human that I think can understand where I'm coming from.
It's really so much that my my purpose, right, that I've devoted myself to, much like you, is to have conversations and just find, I'm not one to go outside that much. I work from home and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a way for me to relate these ideas that I've devoted like 20 years to. And like, I can express a lot of this a lot easier than others. And I can make connections a little bit easier just because I have the words that I've read over and over and over and over. I've been studying non-dualism for a very long time. So I just want to help people who are not so much like very atheistic and very angry type people because they're not ready, but people that are right on the cusp, on the fence of it all, maybe agnostic type people.
Yes.
And-
Yes. That's where it starts, being agnostic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say atheism has its place too,
Yes.
to start analyzing the causal world and realize that everything is a action and reaction in our material world is a very important step.
But be careful with knowledge claims, right? Be careful with knowledge claims, and you know this. Like I'm talking to the atheists. Be careful being certain about something that you don't have, that you don't know. Even if the proof isn't there, try to understand why people believe it in your own way. But you start with as being an agnostic, and you start by having healthy skepticism, right? And then, look, I literally use the analogy or this idea, right? Where like you don't take other people's words, and I think you were talking about this or someone else was. You don't take other people's words. You understand what that means in your own way, right? So if an outlet in the wall just poof, it popped into existence, right? And we know outlets, we can plug things into it. It sends electricity through a wire to light up or, well, energize something, right? But let's say I'm just creating an outlet for you right now. Boop. It could be scary that it just popped into existence. But what if I told you that this outlet really turns me on, and like it makes you rock hard, and would you believe that this outlet does that to me?
I could.
Right.
You can make it.
Because I'm speaking in a way that we're engaged right now. But someone told me about the cave a philosopher talked about the cave, where there's cavemen inside, and all they knew was like 2D shadows on the wall, and that was their world, right? But one of the cavemen went outside and saw the light and saw the three-dimensional world, and was trying to communicate this to the other caveman, right? And it's up to that first caveman that caveman in that situation, in that tribe, wherever they are at. It was up to that one that figured out the truth. They were responsible for conveying the truth. So that is wrong for me to tell you that this outlet turns me on, because I've never been turned on by an outlet in my life, right? And you can sure try yourself if you want to. You don't need to tell me. That's your personal information. But I'll tell you now that outlets, you can plug things into it. Like, I don't even know what the technical term is, but it literally powers things. That's where electricity comes from. Do not put your finger, do not put a knife in it, and we can get into that, right? So it's up to the person that knows to teach without lying.
I would say that in that allegory of the Plato's cave, it's the first person who unshackles himself and goes out into the real world. He comes back and he's trying to describe 3D objects, color, smells, none of which anyone has experienced before. I would say he's incapable of explaining it, and his job is actually to unshackle the others so that they can see it for themselves.
Yes, you know this. This is why I don't explain every single thing all the time, right? Because people shouldn't take my words. They should put the concepts, like the simple concepts like fear is the root cause for unnecessary suffering. I'm telling people this so they can look inwards fearlessly, and hopefully look outwards fearlessly too. And they will find, I believe, what we know.
So I will put a thought experiment out there for you.
Let's do it.
So in Buddhism, you said that fear causes unnecessary suffering. In Buddhism, it takes it one step further, and it says any type of attachment causes suffering. So I'll give you an example of love, right? I love the hell out of my 11-year-old daughter, right?
Yes.
But this love is almost painful because I know that she's growing up. I know that she's losing her innocence over, she will be losing her innocence over the next few years. Like, she'll become more aware of the evil in the world, and she won't be who she is now. And it's a crushing hurt and suffering that I feel when I think of the love of my daughter. So it's not just
that's valid.
Yeah.
I don't have kids. I can't imagine, but I can try to understand to the best of my capabilities. But look, that's not unnecessary suffering. That's suffering that exists because of what is.
Yeah, but I would just say that, and I wouldn't do that. See, I mindfully suffer. I willfully suffer for my daughter because, that's part of my journey, right?
That's part of it. That doesn't make you any less of a human. That doesn't mean you're bad. That doesn't mean you're broken.
I'm sorry.
It's understandable.
Hold on one second.
Go ahead.
A call's coming in. I can't hear you.
Okay.
All right. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not saying that makes you inherently bad.
I think 1 second. Oh no, not anymore. I thought I did, but I didn't.
I'm not saying that makes one necessarily bad. What I'm saying is, if you're looking at the root of suffering, and I can maybe relate it.
Unnecessary suffering.
Yes, it's completely up to you to attach yourself to others in a way that the loss of others, and the love of others causes you pain. And so, how do you do that?
Yes. I am fearless, and trust in God, and have faith in God of what I've understood, to help me understand constantly, because everyone is a part of this, whether they want to be or not. We didn't ask to be born, but here we are in a world with suffering, and it's literally people like you and the past two people that were argumentative that help me understand how to be better for myself too, right? Like we get something from each other. Like you're getting something different from what I'm getting from you because you're putting new ideas into my mind that I can process and understand on my own. And I think I'm doing that with you too. And in the four or three people watching, they're interacting in their own ways, and we're literally questioning what we're doing on this earth. And I'm saying we're all human beings. No one is above, no one is below. Let's work it out instead of reacting so we all don't go extinct.
Yeah, that's a good point, man.
Right.
Um,
We can figure this out without someone coming down and saving us. Like I can be, if you're Christian, look, it doesn't have to end the way it has to end, right? I can be the white horse. I call dibs on being the white horse. We can do performance theater and art where no one gets harmed physically, but the wish, if you want that to happen, we can make it happen, right? But is this gonna happen in my lifetime? I don't know. I hope so. Like you have a future that you see as good. I have a future I see as good. This doesn't make me a prophet. Anyone can visualize in their minds a future that's good. And I think if you can see it, you ought to try to actualize it in reality. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does. We're creator beings, and we have the ability to create whatever reality we want. And I would extend that further. What's happening now is like I think you're hinting at it. Essentially, where people are using media and stuff in order to control people in a mass way, like giving.
Be careful.
Well,
But yes,
let me-
be careful.
I will be careful, but what I'm saying is essentially, if you can, like, let's use an example of a television show. If on the television show you like emit a certain emotion, right, like anger, like this most widely watched show in the world, and the main character, gets hurt or something, right, and it makes everybody angry. There are those out there who can manipulate that mass feeling in order to manifest certain outcomes that they would like.
Are you talking about the filmmakers that made it, or the actor, or like what are you talking about here? Like who's manipulating? Because I would
think-
concede. Oh, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, I would say that, like you see it how certain like books are adapted to mass consumption. Like they'll make certain changes, right, within the books in order to push like people one way or the other, or to get a
Right.
message across. It's almost
like-
like subliminal.
Yes, but like we can use manipulation in a good way. I know that's gonna sound terrible, but hear me out. So composers in film, like Hans Zimmer, he literally manipulates people to invoke an emotion watching moving images that play at 24 frames a second, most of the time. That's the perception of images being perceived by the human eye to perceive movement. Literally, he's accompanying this story of this person being hurt, let's say, and he writes some music, and the person doesn't just get angry, they also cry. And why do they cry? And I would say if someone cries, it's not a bad thing, because it's physical, it's real, we can see how that person gets into emotional state, right? And we can see that tear is real, like that came out of their body, and that means we should be very, very careful how we speak to them. And in that, if we're gonna interact with after this, like why, if like say this person is gonna talk about it more in the future, or just anyone crying in general, like that is their truth. They resonated so hard with this character's journey that they cried physical tears. And we shouldn't tell people that crying is bad. We should not tell that, because this is a super important indicator about what it means to be human.
Definitely. You could look at it as tears are the spiritual becoming material, and it's a purification process and almost like a baptism.
I like that idea. and I got shivers. Not in like the in a really deep sensational way, but I did get shivers down my back. 'Cause it
So-
resonated. It literally resonates with me. What you're talking about resonates with me. Even though
Well,
I'm not a Christian.
Yeah, well, and I wouldn't call myself a Christian either. You know, like I'm a follower of Christ, I'm a follower of Buddha, I'm a follower of Krishna. You know, like, but you know, let me put this out there. You know, we touched on electricity, right? And we touched on, you know, emotion and how it manifests itself in our body. So, have you ever looked into the chakra system, like the chakras, the seven chakras?
What's that?
Oh man. So I'm just going to give you a couple nuggets and you can look into it on your own
Okay.
time, right?
Let me write it down just so I can look into it in the future if I ever get the time. There's so many things I need to look up. But chakra, how do you spell this?
CHAKRAS.
CHARKS.
CHAKRAS.
Okay, I got it. And what is this?
Okay, so what your chakric system is essentially the spirit becoming material, like we were just talking. And so what it is, right, is this electric. Well, it's actually not electric. It's actually electromagnetic current that goes through your body. You get magnetism from the ground. You get electricity from the air. Think of like Tesla's. His free energy, how he was harnessing ether from the air and making energy out of it, the free limitless. Okay, so it's a natural system that exists in your body that relates to your endocrine system.
What's that mean?
So-
what's endocrine? That sounds fun.
So so your endocrine system consists of like your gonads, your
what?
your thorax, your pineal gland.
Where
like-
is that in my body?
So exactly where the chakras are. So one is in your third eye. That's your pineal gland,
Where's my third eye at?
right? So have you ever looked at an Indian from India and they have that red dot in the center of their eye or the center of their forehead?
This is the what?
Right there. That's your pineal gland, right?
I tend to do this when I have a bad thought. When I have a bad thought, I'm like, I put my middle finger on my forehead. What's that mean?
So your pineal gland is something that it works every single night when you dream, and what it does is, well, a couple things about it. It inside of it, there's crystalline structures that, if vibrated and if hit with the right electric current, it works as though like a quartz watch, where like a quartz.
What's a
You
quartz?
put electric. So you put with quartz. You've seen quartz on watches, right? Like,
Quartz, like as like the material, like it's a rock.
yes.
Okay,
So
that's how I understand it. I don't know exactly what the difference is between like sedimentary or like igneous or whatever. But anyways, it's like a rock.
it's
like,
crystalline.
It's like
a
Ultron.
crystal.
Wait, no, like what's his name? Vision from WandaVision or Marvel with the yellow stone.
I don't
just
know.
trying I'm just trying to just correlate things. But anyway, so like what's this called again? The third eye.
So that's your pineal, right?
Pineal.
So pineal gland.
Pineal gland. Pineal.
So, like in a quartz watch, how a watch works and how it keeps time is the electric current is delivered to a quartz crystal, and it vibrates at a very constant rate, right? And you can use that vibration to measure time with, because it's so constant and so uniform.
So it's vibrating if I think about the past or the future? How do I know that?
Not necessarily. So
Okay.
here's when your pineal gland is in effect, right? So when you go to sleep and you dream, your pineal gland releases a substance called dimethyltryptamine, or DMT, into your head.
I've heard about that. That's like natural, but people also, it's like a substance too, right?
Yes, it's in everything. I mean, it's in a lot of different things. It's a substance. It's a natural substance on our planet, right? But it does crazy things to us. It forces a non-dualistic perspective, pretty much.
It forces. Okay, but I can naturally do this without taking an outside thing, right?
Correct.
Good.
Correct. And here's the thing: when people take like DRUGS or whatever,
I know it's
they
about I know it's the outlet thing, but I have reason to believe this guy. I know Darwin. This is
So-
you go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we count. So if you're not tracking, you can get there one day. Anyways, so you're talking about things because you're educated and you're talking about these words, and like we do with scientists that, let's say, that developed the COVID vaccine. We listen to them because we don't want to make other people suffer because we were too ignorant, and that's we suspend our belief and we give people credit because you've shown me nothing but good, and I'm going to believe you, and that's why I'm believing this guy right now. I'm doing this as a teaching moment and walking my mind through so Darwin can track on his own if he wants to. Anyways, so we have the pineal gland, and then we have what else? Yes, you
so
can, Darwin.
there is I think Darwin's with us in the conversation. I think he's right. He probably looked into this stuff before, but
Okay, I believe
either
that.
way. So I'm going to paraphrase. I do have to work eventually,
Yes,
but
I appreciate you so much, man. This has been super productive, and
Yeah.
if you need to get to work, I don't want to hold you up. We can always talk
No,
about this
no.
another time too.
I love talking about this stuff, right? So
You're amazing.
let me
I'm just gonna
let
say
me
it.
paraphrase what it is. So
Okay.
it's emotional centers in your being, right? So
Emotional
like
centers.
emotional center. So like your base chakra would represent, sexuality and duality, right? And that's where your go.
Bisexual,
No, your sexual chakra.
sexual chakra. Is that in the brain? Or is
Let
that-
me. I'm sorry. I forget that I'm talking to someone who hasn't really been exposed to these ideas.
Right.
You have
Okay.
seven. You have 7 chakras going up the middle of your body on your spine, right? Yeah, it goes all the way from the top of your head all the way down to your taint.
So the tailbone, right? Or wait.
Yeah,
no,
like
under,
your teeth.
underneath between the asshole and
Yes,
I know what that is now.
that's the
I've heard
base.
about it. Look,
So-
I'm being curious, but like this is stuff that like I don't know everything, and this is why this person is amazing. So okay, so we have this other thing that's in our back or in our
Yeah.
spine from the top to the bottom.
Yeah, and it physically manifests it in your endocrine system, right? So like you have endocrine, and I would write that down. ENDOCRINE. Endocrine.
CRINE.
NE.
Okay, endocrine, and that's like the spine. Okay.
Yeah, and just look at
then
those two words together. Chakra, endocrine.
chakra system and the endocrine. Okay, yeah.
So you
I've
can
been really
cultivate-
abusing my back, if you can't tell. I sit in a chair too long, and I don't sit up straight. I wish I can fix that.
Yeah, I have a very bad back. I have lifelong affliction from dirt bikes, but
Oh man.
but so I'm paraphrasing here. Then we're going to do a little experiment so you can feel this energy, right? So the first thing is, so when you're looking at your chakras, your base represents sexuality or dualism. If you're having sexual problems, you would focus on that chakra.
This.
No, the base one on your taint. You'll see a diagram. You'll see a diagram of the 7 chakras when you look this up and the emotions that it
There's
represents.
7. Oh, okay, I understand. I didn't track. I didn't know there was 7 chakras. So endocrine is one of them, right? And then the P
They-
one.
There's
Is another one.
there's 7 chakras and 7 endocrine glands that
Oh.
correspond with each of the chakras.
Okay.
So, like for example, your throat chakra, you have the thorax that's behind your vocal cords. And it's related to communication. Being like if you feel like you can't communicate, you can focus your awareness there and cultivate that.
When I've spoken too much, sometimes I get a lump in my throat. It indicates that I should stop talking. but that hasn't happened on this live ever.
So that's the basic gist of what it is. It's emotional centers within your body, right? So I can do a little experiment with you right now, and you can feel it for the, and you can start to understand, like, just a glimpse of this energy and how to work with it, right?
Okay.
And like once you look it up later, right? So
Yes.
this is going to sound silly, right? And it's going to sound weird.
I'm open. No judgment. No judgment.
Okay.
What do you want me to do? But
Okay.
please, I'm not gonna expose myself.
No, you're not. No,
Okay.
But so essentially the same physical movement you do when you cut off your pee or when you cut off a dookie, you clench and you clench.
Oh, I see.
You can feel the energy move up, almost like you get like a little energy burst.
I really gotta pee.
Okay, well, that's it though. Like that's the start of it. That's how you bring the chakric energy up.
I was told as I'm not gonna say my last name, but my dad would say, as us, we can hold our shits in.
I'm the opposite, man. When I gotta go, I gotta go.
So okay. Anyways, so we're talking silly, and this is great. So if I'm holding in a poop or a pee, that's one of my chakras.
You can clench those muscles right now.
Women do this, and this is how you produce like a heavier stream. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure about women. I would have to ask my fiance about it, but
But like you can practice holding it, right? And like you can make yourself pee really, really slow to make that muscle like, right?
Yeah, I see what you mean, but what I'm saying is just a brief clench right now. Like you clench those muscles right now in the bottom of your, like those two muscles right now. Yes.
Okay, I'm trying my best. I think I'm doing. I don't know if I'm doing. Well, I'm holding in my pee definitely because I'm not peeing my pants, and you would know this because I would be like fuck. And anyways, I'm trying my best with my butt, so I'm clenched.
So just do it for, like as you breathe in, then you can feel this energy move up through your body. It almost feels like like a little energy burst, like you're a little bit more awake than you were before. Like
I don't know if I'm doing it. My right butt cheek is like. Okay, I'll try it again, but I have to breathe in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, like I think it's just how I am. My right butt cheek is just wanting to go berserk here, but clenched. Okay, I'm gonna try it again because I did not feel. What am I supposed to feel? It's supposed to feel like something, right? Okay, so. Okay.
Just what you're doing physically is you're like essentially clenching your endocrine system at the base with that muscle contraction.
And I might not be doing this because I haven't practiced this since high school. Literally, it's been a while with practicing clenching this certain thing. Okay, I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. Okay. No, I think I have to go pee. Maybe that's why. Like
possibly, yeah.
I'll try this in my own time, but I'll
yeah,
try and
definitely.
see if I can. I'll try and see if I can feel something. I think this is really interesting because like this is what we do, right? This is how we study and understand what we're capable of as humans, and then you're bringing a new idea to me to try on my own and practice in my own way, right? And this is what it's all about. Like literally, this is what it's all about.
Can I give you just? I mean, I do have to go soon, but can I give you one more thing? I know you have to pee.
That's okay. I can hold it.
But so using this method and working with that energy in my body, and this is just testimony and anecdotal, right? I've been afflicted by like stomach issues for over 20 years, and like the doctors couldn't figure out what's going on or whatever. They've done every test under the sun. I've been in and out. This manifested this year as like in like where I was puking constantly so much that like my lips would bleed from the bile from the acidity of the puke, right? And I would do that for days at a time, and I would have to go to the ER, and I nearly died a couple times doing that, right?
Oh damn, dude, I'm sorry to hear about this.
So, well, either way, you know, and I went through more tests, and you know, they stuck cameras up my butt and down my esophagus and everything, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. So I started working with this chakra system, and so where I was feeling discomfort is right under my sternum, yeah, right there. That's another chakra.
I believe this is where the soul comes from.
Yeah, well, that's your third chakra. Like one above that is your heart, and that's where the divine. There's 3 above your heart and 3 below your heart. So that's where the center
5,
is.
6, 7, 8. I like that number.
Well, the 7.
Oh, 7. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 3. So 3, 6, 7, 8. Or wait, is the one below the heart a part of the 2?
No, it's your base chakra. Then you have one right above that near your navel. Then you have one under your sternum. Then you have one on your heart. Then you have one on your throat. You have one on your third eye in the middle. Then you have one on your crown on the top of your head. Yeah, those are the 7. But anyway, like I drew awareness to this center underneath my sternum, right? And, you know, I use this energy to focus energy and awareness on that part of my body, which had to do with like me feeling powerless because I felt all this evil in the world. I felt powerless or whatever. And it healed my stomach, dude. I used to puke almost every morning. And because I worked on this emotional center of my body and I used this energy, it completely healed me to where I'm no longer affected by it. And so that's just testimony, anecdotal, like, you know, hearsay. But for me, like I was able to use this tool to heal myself.
I believe you. I've had thoughts on how like mental, like sorry you went through stuff like that in the first place. I find this really fascinating. Like you're just a really fascinating person to talk to. And in going through that experience and being open to share it, I appreciate you doing that. That's amazing. And that's amazing that, you know, doing that and experimenting and trying in your own way, like you found what works and what doesn't repeat anymore. I find that very fascinating. I believe mental illness is severely misunderstood. I can get into that, but I believe there's a cure for Alzheimer's, and part of it starts with music, right? But belief is a powerful thing, and if a collective of people can believe and align, and believe that maybe this individual with Alzheimer's can get better, prayer, right? That's what we understand what that means, right? But we do that in our own way. And I'll stop there because I think I haven't tested it and I'm making a hypothesis and I would love to test it sometime.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think a lot can be cured by these types of. There's a reason why these monks who meditate a lot, they live to past 100 and stuff. Like,
Oh wow.
it's not, it's essentially understanding your body and stuff. Then naturally you start eating better, you start breathing better, your body heals itself. And what we see with like cancer and like all these other afflictions that people are afflicted with, what it really is your body not being in the natural order of things, right? You're at disharmony with your environment. So if you can focus on the disharmony within yourself, your body can. And I'm not saying I can cure cancer or anything like that, but I feel
Right.
like there's a truth to it. I feel like
Yes.
there's something to it, you know? Oh, what about the placebo effect, right?
Right.
You know, if a person believes that like this pill does what it says and they're giving a sugar pill, then their body naturally does this. And this is a
Belief.
scientific fact.
Right. And yes, it's proof that belief is powerful, but also dangerous. Be careful. But it's powerful when done right.
Yeah, and another thing, since you said that at one point you were Christian, like at one point, so look into. I'm going to give you another word.
I'm looking. There's an Orthodox church I'm gonna visit on Sunday. or whenever they have service, I'm gonna try to find a person that someone recommended.
So if you would write this word down for me.
Yes, sir.
So KUND
Okay. UND Kund. Okay.
ALINI.
ALIM as in Mercy.
No, as in Nancy.
Nancy and I at the end.
Yep. It's Kundalini.
Kundalini. Okay, got it.
Okay, look up Kundalini and put next to it Revelations.
Oh God.
Revelations.
Is it Revelation or Revelations?
Revelations like the Bible book.
Isn't it Revelation?
Oh yeah, Revelation.
Sorry, I don't mean to be one of those guys.
No, it's fine. So that story is about Kundalini awakening. About the 7 churches is the 7 chakras. The 4 horses are.
Oh gosh, guys, it doesn't have to end this way. It doesn't have to end this way. I don't know what you're talking about, but look, I've heard enough about this story where I don't know if I want to read it, but I have to be without fear, right? And so I'm gonna look into this. So Revelation, Kundalini, 7 churches.
Well, you don't. You'll find all this stuff once you look into it. So you don't have to write down anything besides Kundalini and Revelation.
Okay,
And look those 2 terms up together, and you'll see what Revelation is about. And it's about Kundalini rising, this energy rising it within you. And so the 4 horses of the apocalypse represent: black is intellect, red is emotion, pale is physical body, and white is spirit.
There's usually 4 outcomes to every decision.
And
That I've found and to me to be true. 4 to me means questioning. 3 means good. 2, it's up for debate. Sometimes it means bad, sometimes it doesn't. 1 means God. 5 means human. 6, you know what that means. 7, you know what that means. 8 means time. These are things that I think other people have communicated, or time, or like future, or like what could be, right? 9 is belief. 10, I don't know. And I can keep applying meaning to these things, but like numbers have become important because someone implanted that meaning into me at one point in my life.
Man, I'm about to blow your mind, man. So in the Bible, 9 is the symbol of man, right?
Oh,
so
what's 5?
So hear me out. Well, 5 would be the 4 natural forces: air, water, earth, and fire. I think I got all of them with spirit on top.
Fire, spirit on top.
Yeah, but check this out. If you like numbers, right? What is the number of the mark of the beast?
We know it, right?
6,
Is it
yeah,
6, 1,
so
and 6?
It's 666, right?
I thought the true one was 616.
It's back and forth, but just
Okay,
stay with
so
me on this thought
yes.
experiment.
Yes.
So 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18, right?
Okay.
Then 1 plus 8 is 9, right?
1 plus 8 is 9. Okay, I see.
You see what I'm doing there?
And 9 is man. Okay, I see. See, we literally, you're explaining in a different way what this means for you, and I'm understanding what this means for me in my own way, but I'm following. Yes.
So 666 represents the carnal, dualistic ego mind, right, of man. Then in Revelation, 144,000 are saved. This is 144,000. This is the higher mind.
Higher mind. Higher.
So 1 plus 4 plus 4 is 9.
Plus 9. Literally, do you know? I'm very intentional about the amount of words I speak, or especially type out when I'm in these heightened states, because you can count the words and understand what they mean, right?
Oh, that's cool.
And I think
Yeah.
people intentionally do this and subconsciously do this. I believe people subconsciously do this when they're truly with God.
Yeah, I've seen things where like they take gurus or masters and they play their voice backwards, and it has hidden meaning in what they're saying. I've seen that.
Oh yes, there's another thing too. And look at this. I don't want to talk about this publicly, but I know what you're talking about.
You might know the exact story that I'm talking about.
I don't know. We can go there. I don't know if we should, but we can. I'm not afraid. I just don't know how much we should be talking about these things when people in the chat might not understand. Does that make sense? Because like we're reaching an alignment right now that I don't know if other people are aligned in what we're talking about right now. And so this can just sound like a bunch of gibberish, and people can take it as just these guys just talking about numbers and not seeing it as we are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean. I was thinking of a specific story where there was this patriarch of what is it called? The Hare Krishna movement, and
Okay.
and he was on his deathbed, and they recorded his voice, and if you played it backwards, it told you who actually unalived him, and it
Was he
was someone
speaking
close
in
to him.
like weird? Was he speaking a weird language and then playing it
No.
backwards? Was it English?
No, he was speaking English, and they played his voice backwards, and it said "so and so unalived me," or like. Then they found out later that was true.
So
It's
saying things and rewinding them, you can still speak
yeah,
English because Latin and Greek is made up of English, right?
yeah. So here's the thing, man. With English, they perverted our language in our like. It's
Right.
when
I
spell
understand. I understand. I
it's when
understand.
spell crafting became spelling.
Interesting. When we talk and we can, and you can understand what I'm saying right now, right? You understand because you can read my lips, but and you can understand what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say to you, right?
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
understand, and this is how we communicate. Uh, we can communicate this way, uh, if you feel like you want to. Right, I'm not going to force people to communicate in different ways, but I think this is how we get around bad agents, if that makes sense. Not to be afraid of them, but when we talk about
Oh
ideas
yeah.
like this, it confuses them, right? And um, they will, they could think we're something we're not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you have to be very careful with all kinds of ways that you talk to people. How I look at it,
Right.
man, is that essentially like I'm using my ego to communicate with others, right? But I'm truly God trying to wake other parts of myself up, and
You're
it's a
truly
game.
God.
Well, I'm part of God, right?
Right.
If God is everything, I am also, and that's why you look within and find them,
And yeah, you have to be super careful saying that because people can be like, "Oh, he thinks he's God," right?
But I think here's the thing: it's
But
one thing to say that you're God.
they can take your words out of construction. This happened to me in my third manic episode, right? Um, People claimed I said I was God. I never ever said that in my life.
I'll claim that. I know, but I'll claim that, and I'll say that you are as well.
Okay.
And see, when people say I am God and no one else is God, that's the issue. That's when people think you're
Yes.
crazy.
Okay, I
But
understand because God's in
but-
everything, and then you've explained that, right?
Yeah,
So,
so-
now we understand, and hopefully the chat understands too, right? And that makes sense, right? So we're being I'm being careful on purpose, so we explain for others to understand, right?
I definitely understand, and that's why I like using examples. Not necessarily at your level of understanding, but at a more broad level, broad idea.
Right.
Like it's an invitation, not a mandate.
I see, and I appreciate the ideas, and this is really really fascinating talking to you, and I really appreciate you. Do you need to go to work, man? It is 9:19.
Yeah, I honestly do. Like,
Okay.
I mean, I set my own hours and I do kind of what I want.
That's awesome.
But I still have to be productive every day as like what is it? Accountability to myself and
Yes.
uh
And
you know.
who you work for, right? That's understandable.
yeah.
Look, if you want to ever hop on again and talk about stuff like this, I'd be honored. honestly. What you believe is corresponds and aligns with what I believe, and we were able to talk about these other ideas, and get further and progress because we aligned, right? This is what it's all about. This is the point of me coming up here. I am on my medication, and I know you know that, but some people don't. I encourage. No, I marked my white pants with my pen. Anyways, it's been really nice talking to you.
Yeah, definitely. It was very nice talking to you. My thing is, I just love talking about this stuff. So
I can tell. And
I
you're really
just
good at
struggle
communicating
with. Well, I just struggle. I never want to come off as preachy or anything like
No.
that. I do my best
No,
not to come off that way.
You did not come off that way to me. But like, look, I was being curious because like you're presenting ideas I haven't heard, but like ideas I've thought of, but I didn't put a name to. Does that make sense? And not everything was like that. Like I didn't know about the seven, like the endo. I like look. I didn't know everything, but like I'm curious enough to want to understand what that means to you, and hopefully I can feel that too.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's what it's all about. I'm like, my daughter was sick and lost her voice, and I'm losing my voice. I might not even be able to work. Most of my job is talking to people. But
Well, you're an excellent
anyway,
communicator.
well, I appreciate it. So one thing to bring it all back to what you were talking about in the very beginning before I even came up is you were talking about how you try not to react and try not to. It's easy to fall in the trap of like reacting emotionally to something that someone says, and it's all about emotional regulation, right?
Yes.
So everything that I was speaking about the chakra system and like all that has to do with emotional regulation and being able to present I would say harmonize yourself within your body. That way you can, approach these types of conversations and situations with that regularity.
What if I am at harmony and I do feel it, but what if I do it to teach people not to do it, but be careful when I do it?
So, there's stories of people, using it, using like, anger or something to wake people up to a broader idea. But you just have to, I would just say if you use emotion in that way, you just have to really examine the intent behind it. Because if it's reactionary, all you're doing is rippling their emotions back and causing bigger waves.
But if they see, look, this is how I think we deal with narcissists. I'm not saying everyone's a narcissist, by the way. I'm not. No, God, what am I? Okay, I'm saying, with narcissists, you mirror it back, so they don't feel like the only one, because they feel like they're the only one. Do you understand?
Yeah, well, I would say for narcissists, so narcissists are characterized by, I believe we all have a bit of narcissism, right? We're all,
what do you mean?
have these aspects of ourselves.
What do you mean, man? What do you mean?
What I'm saying is, you see these negative attributes in others, but you're the one, or I say you, generally, when someone
you
looks
can
at
say you, it's okay.
Okay, so
I understand what you're trying to say. You're not trying to assume, but I don't think you are. I believe you're just talking honestly.
Yeah, so when we see negative attributes in others, like let's say in narcissism where they're self-centered, they're unable to take criticism or whatever, we're the ones who give it negative meaning. In itself, that is just a way of being, right? So you say we attribute, this negative connotation to that aspect of ourselves. So a lot of times if we do that reactively, it's because we don't want to be that type of person. It's a reflection of what we don't like.
But we can call out immediately, like do the least amount of harm, and then react, but then be like, hey, this is why we don't do it, right? This is why we don't do it. So we can get onto the same. If they're not, look, if a narcissist doesn't want to face a person, I force that, and then they look and they're like, what? Wait, you're over there, but no, I'm look, I'm right here, buddy. I can do it too. And then we clap hands and we hug.
So I would say that my method it probably differs a little bit because I take a Unitarian, kind of like across the board method on it. And it doesn't matter what the attribute is that I would say that is negative or positive or anything. Just approach the conversation with openness. And what I found is if okay, let's say someone likes to instill anger and fear and hate into others to make their internal hate, fear, and anger, like misery loves company, right? So what I would say, if someone approached me that way, the only way to get them to drop their guard and, move out of that perspective is if you approach the situation openly and with compassion and without
Yes,
judgment.
That's how it starts. That's how it starts. And then they react, and then I'm like, okay. And then they react again. I'm like, okay. And they react again. I'm like, okay. And they react again. I'm like, okay. And then they react again, and I'm like, hey. And then they react again, and I can do it too. Do you understand?
Well, look, what if
I choose good. Look, you adopt Christianity as your belief, right? This man called Jesus tried his best to not react to people, I believe. And if we're gonna claim that as true, what I can do, what you can do, what we're both doing, like we have to find a different way, and we have technology to help us, right? We can do this creatively. We can literally look. We use this number for good. Does that make sense? And once we understand what this means, we use this number for good. Does that make sense? Because everyone in my harmony, in my chorus, in my chord, in our universe, in our reality goes up. Every single one.
Yeah, definitely. There's something in Buddhism called bodhisattva, and it's people who, operate within the dualistic, world or the world of material, like jobs and talking to people and stuff like that. They stay in that state even though they know the truth to wake people up, and they use language and they use how they act and all that. So it's called a bodhisattva in Buddhism. It's like someone who chooses to be reincarnated for the goal of waking people up. So it's beautiful that you said in my universe, everybody awakes. So that's the bodhisattva vow in Buddhism, is to wake people up.
It's I'm not forcing people this. You're willingly engaging with me right now. Just like
you can't
everyone
force.
Right. It's not about control. It's about guiding. And we have to be clever about how we do that, right? I'm not if I could ever this is one of my wishes right now is literally to meet Donald Trump, go golfing with him, say he's a better golfer than me because it's likely true because I haven't golfed in years, and literally come to understand who this man is as an individual, and never react in ways that I can imagine. I can imagine different things I can say to hurt him. It's literally to understand the man and to help guide his brain and help him grow up as a 70-year-old. He has a childish brain and he's old. He can be better. I know he can. He still has time.
We all can be, and I'm
Right.
not one to claim that I know any of these people, we there's a whole power dynamic that we have no clue about, and we never will. George Carlin said, there's a big
From what
club
he's
and we're not in it.
From what he's indicated, what I've seen on my screen, my two-dimensional screen, I see reality as it's given to me, and the man says something and then he says something else. He contradicts himself, and people who contradict themselves, we ought to be careful with how we look at them and perceive them. And I'm sorry if Donald Trump, if for some stupid reason you're one of the two people here, stupid reason, sorry, I don't know, because it's stupid, because why would you be watching a fucking TikTok, right? Anyways, I take everything and I say it with love, and I hope you understand what that means. And
Yeah,
this is
definitely.
me. This is me also just like praying in a way, like
Church.
if this if this idea could reach this man, I believe we can all be good together, and I truly believe that.
Yeah, but even if it just reaches that one person, it requires it reaching everyone, right? So
Right. So we start out small, like what we're doing right now. Like me and you are in this little space right here, and then you go out and I go out to the world, and then those people interact with other people, and those people interact with, and it's a community, and it's a state, and then it's a country, and then it's the world, and then it's the universe, and then it's the other universes, and then it's whatever else we can possibly imagine and come up together with and figure out together, because that is the point. Human species, we survive together. We are all one, but different and unique and beautiful in our own ways.
yeah, man, we're all leaves on the same tree, like we're this. It's beautiful, man. I've really enjoyed talking to you. I mean,
You're
this
beautiful,
is
man.
this is exactly what I was looking for this morning
You're
before
amazing.
I got into work. So
You're amazing.
uh,
Keep being you. And in my mind, we've already won.
oh yeah, that's the thing. And I would love to expand on more conversation. Like
Please.
I
You're always
hope
welcome.
Darwin's down here, and I appreciate Darwin for inputting
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
And I feel like he was a part of the conversation. It was just hard to
I tend to
have
not
two
look
at
at
once, right?
I tend to not look at the comments. Sometimes people just, I think, want a reaction, but I'll read some of his or theirs, um, comments. But yeah, no, I appreciate people just watching in general and taking interest in these kinds of ideas. This is what it's all about. We engage and we figure out together.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll be on some other time. Like this is really I hyper focus on things, and this is what I'm hyper focused on now.
Yeah, it's
So
amazing.
like
It's
I'm super
fantastic.
into it.
I literally found God for the first time, or for the fourth time, but for the first time being on medication yesterday. And I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for people in the past, but if it wasn't for me understanding what this means in my own way. So, and I appreciate you coming on and teaching me and helping me understand what it means to you too. And you're always welcome. And I'll be thinking about you quite a bit today and the future too.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be around, man. All right,
Awesome.
have a good one.
You too, man. Take care.
All right, bye.
Awesome. That was so awesome. So awesome. So awesome. I have so much to look up. I have to go pee. I think I'm going to end this one. I've been on for 2.5 hours, but I appreciate people just sticking in there. Darwin, I'm gonna read your comments. I'll read your comments first. Well, you've been commenting like crazy. That's amazing. Okay. Let's see. You came in. It's funny. I'm gonna do this on my own time. I'm gonna go pee, but I appreciate you sticking in there. And I'll be on probably like I'm gonna take a walk because I need to get out of my chair and walk more and listen to music just to kind of deconstruct and understand everything that was inputted into my brain. So I hope you understand. I'll be back on later today. Thank you. Guys, I gotta go pee so bad.